or when it will happen. So I created an easy process to make it pain-free and fast to create the proper estate planning documents for you. Ready to get started? Then call me, Attorney John D'Onofrio, at 412-928-2068 and schedule your free estate planning consultation. Allow me to meet with you in my law office or in the comfort and privacy of your home and provide you with your free consultation. Telephones are answered 24/7. If I am not at the office or if I am with a client, my staff or answering service will send me a text and I will return your call in a timely manner. Thank you for taking your valuable time to listen to me today. I appreciate every listener and I look forward to meeting you at your earliest convenience. For estate planning in uncertain times, I'm Attorney John D'Onofrio. Call me today, 412-928-2068. Schedule your complimentary consultation. Call today. Get peace of mind today. That's 412-928-2068. Thank you, and have a great day.
The preceding program was pre-recorded.
The proceeding was paid for by D'Onofrio Law Office, PC. Information on the program was intended to solely further the public's general knowledge about the product. Opinions expressed should not be relied upon for any purpose by any member of the audience. News Radio KDKA does not guarantee the accuracy of any of the information heard on the preceding program.
The best words to hear at the TSA security checkpoint? You're good to go. All it takes is a little preparation. Get to the airport early. Bring a carry-on bag that fits in the overhead and have an acceptable ID. Not all state-issued IDs will cut it. Check out tsa.gov/ID and see which TSA acceptable IDs make the grade, like a real ID or passport.
Before you jet, do a little prep, and you're good to go. Check out tsa.gov/ID or the MyTSA app.
Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
KDKA and KDKA-FM HD2 Pittsburgh. W261AX Pittsburgh.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Aetna Medicare studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Wendy Gillette. The man accused of trying to fire on the White House Correspondents' Dinner in Washington last night will be arraigned tomorrow. Secret Service agents quickly whisked President Trump to safety.
First Lady and I were taken very well care of, very quickly rushed off the stage.
CBS News correspondent Weijia Jiang was sitting next to the president. She describes what happened after the Secret Service told everyone to get down.
We were crawling off the stage, and in the back, that is a holding area where people wait, including President Trump and distinguished guests, to go onto the stage. And we were sitting there, and I saw more than a dozen SWAT officers. There were members of the Secret Service milling about. There were members of the president's team. It was their quick work that protected all of us that night.
The suspect was identified as 31-year-old Cole Allen from Torrance, California. Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche on his movements before the shooting.
We believe that he traveled by train from Los Angeles to Chicago and then from Chicago to Washington, D.C.
He then stayed at the Washington Hilton Friday night, which hosted the event. Allen's alleged writings say he intended to target members of the Trump administration. Family members told police he sent them, some of them, just minutes before the shooting. CBS's Anna Schechter.
He had thought deeply about this and taken the time to write this down and hit send and time the sending of the email to just before the attack. So this is absolutely premeditated. That's why I think we're going to see more charges coming down, because a prosecutor is going to be able to build this case based on this writing and all the prep.
North Carolina Republican Senator Tom Tillis says he's changed his mind about voting for possible Fed Chair Kevin Warsh.
I am prepared to move on with the confirmation of Mr. Warsh. I think he's going to be a great Fed chair.
There are possible strong storms in the forecast in parts of the plains into tomorrow. National Weather Service meteorologist Frank Pereiro.
Got plenty of moisture working its way up from the south. We've also got an area of low pressure that's going to be developing coming out around that time. And that's going to be helping to pull all that warm, moist air up from the south, which in addition to the afternoon heating and destabilization of the atmosphere that occurs around that time, that's when we're expected to see the better storm develop.
This is CBS News.
What is going on?
What's going on here? How is this possible? Great storytelling starts here.
Oh, come on.
Why? It's time for 60 Minutes.
Wait, everything on this IHOP value menu is just $6?
I told you it was amazing. A huge plate of pancakes, bacon, and eggs is just $6.
Wow.
There's also French toast, a ham and cheese omelet, and oh, they got a BLT and fries now.
Okay, we're coming here every day.
You don't have to tell me twice.
Feast for just $6 with the IHOP value menu. $7 in some locations, available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
If you notice any problems with how well you smell, it could be an indicator of a more serious issue.
A new study found that Alzheimer's can cause the brain's immune cells to mistakenly target healthy brain nerve fibers that are crucial for the sense of smell. Therefore, the loss of smell could indicate an early sign of Alzheimer's.
About 85% of people with Alzheimer's disease will have at least some reduction in sense of smell.
The Pacific Neuroscience Institute's Dr. Del Bredesen says if there's concern, get tested for Alzheimer's.
A test called brain scan that is actually a blood test and can tell you if you're on your way to this problem.
Stephen Kaufman, CBS News.
It's rooftop season at many restaurants and bars. At Star Child in New York City, under a retractable roof on the 27th floor, there is a throwback vibe. Drink scorpion bowls and pop Jell-O shots under disco mirror balls. It might take you way back. Wendy Gillette, CBS News.
Man.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred roofing replacement contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
Will turn out mostly sunny with a high of 65 this afternoon, then clear, low 44 tonight. Warming up with sun and afternoon clouds, high 74 tomorrow. For AccuWeather, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
And now,
often imitated,
but never duplicated.
Lenny McAllister.
The way we bring back America and bring people together is by making sure we hold everybody accountable in a 360 fashion.
Yes, there is a change that we can believe in, but it will never come from a politician or a government program.
Lenny McAllister.
Yeah!
Well spoken.
We got to move away from the American Idol soundbite nature of politics back to the American statesman of humble servant leadership that we used to see in politics.
If we get some common sense governance from both sides of the aisle, we can finally get Americans through the recession, not just Wall Street.
Principles or politics? I'd rather have principles.
I speak to the kids in the street. Well, I'm never going to lay down being conservative just as much as I'll never lay down being a proud African American.
I feel like a black Republican. Money I got coming in. Can't turn my back on the hood. I got love for them.
So here's the thing, right? I had plenty of things to talk about before last night. And I will talk about last night. I know you want to talk about last night. 866-391-1020. I had other things I wanted to talk about today. I'm going to do that first. So I'm basically giving you another set of minutes to be able to gather your thoughts, gather your opinions, jot them down, be creative, be cogent, and then call 866-391-1020. And it does several different things. Number one, I have a pre-planned interview that I want to get out the way that kind of ties into another theme that I wanted to talk about. But after what happened last night, I want to at least put that into the mix so that we address it. It's there. We move on. Then you could tell me about what happened in Washington, D.C., pros and cons, what you think. You know, look, I got a text from somebody. I'm not going to name who it was. I promise I will not name who it was, man or woman. And there was a theory behind what happened last night with the text. I know I heard on the radio while I was traveling, which, by the way, part of my 48 hours has been Philadelphia and back Friday, Valley Forge and back Saturday. I'll touch upon that briefly. I know we're going to be talking an awful lot about the Correspondents' Dinner, the assassination attempt, information that's coming out. I'll get to that. I have had it's an interesting weekend for me. So I'm going to need a little bit of a breath before I dive into something like that and the heaviness that you're going to bring with that. And I want you to bring the heaviness. Bring the heavy D, or diddly, 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 diddly D, for some of you all from Gen X. Didn't think I could still do that, did you? Look, good black don't crack. I know what I'm doing. I can still roll that tongue a little bit. That said, because after all, we do have our own thing. That said, one pretty interesting day for me, aside from the fact that I was in Philadelphia Friday and I was in Valley Forge on Saturday, had a chance to catch up to the wonderful kids of Founding Ford once again, Spirit of America. Got a chance to catch up to a Good Citizen Award winner, wonderful young lady, high school junior, doing very, very well in her studies as well. So it was a good group of kids. Kind of did a little different, did a lecture style, less of a speech. Definitely wasn't a speech. It was more like they were in college. I took a bunch of high school kids and put them through a college course somewhat. Really, really cool. That said, though, I was in the car when everything went down last night. So in addition to the drives, I look at the calendar and I see a very unique or interesting, unique in the sense that every day is unique, but I see that it's April 26th. And if I remember correctly, 10 years ago today, I was, pressing the flesh on primary day, shaking many of you all's hands if you are Republican voters and asking for your vote and the congressional primary as a write-in candidate. Now, some of you all know that I did successfully be the Republican nominee. I also did not get on board with the Trump train in 2016. It was talked about in the Tribune Review. In fact, Dr. Paul Kangor, somebody that I have become a friend with over time, and matter of fact, just saw him a couple of weeks ago, wrote an op-ed talking about that whole decision not to get on the Trump train. All that coalesced starting on April 26th. I do believe it was April 26th. 10 years ago. Now, people think, oh, well, it's a write-in candidacy. If nobody else writes in, you win. 5 people write in, of course you're going to win. That's not how it works. You got to win 1,000 votes as a write-in. You got to convince 1,000 people to spell your name correctly or show such directed intent that it's unquestionably you who they are trying to vote for. That's easier said than done, especially when you have to take the time and the effort to write the name in because they're not on the ballot. From what I was told, nobody had ever done that here in this region at that level to win a congressional primary. People had done it to become a state rep or, city council or, local school board in a municipality or something, but never 1,000. And through the work of people that believed in me and worked with me, we got roughly triple that. So when I look back on April 26th, 2016, it's always a special day for me because you pour so much into everything. You don't know where things are going to sit. You don't know if it's going to play out the way you think it's going to play out. You can have a feeling. You could look at people's faces, but you just don't know. And I learned an awful lot through the process 10 years ago. I learned that a lot of you all would love to have a different type of voice speaking up for you in government. I think even more of you out there checked out than you did in 2016, even though there was a fair amount of you that between Ferguson and Baltimore and Trayvon Martin and Supreme Court fights and Sandy Hook and birtherism and the Tea Party and the Great Recession, there were people that were starting to check out of politics and saying, well, listen, if Obama can't do it, nobody's doing it. We had so much hope in 2008, and now it's just like, ugh. He is, he's here. That's nice, I guess. These things are still in play. These things are still issues or challenges. But it was good 10 years ago to have an opportunity, after being on the radio in Chicago, after being on the radio here in Pittsburgh, after having my television show on PCNC, to be able to talk to people about issues that I had studied, that I had worked with, that I worked on, and to be able to say, do you want to do something about it? I know this is unconventional, but we can do something unique. And many of you said yes. And not just the people that made April 26th special, but also the people I talked to afterwards. The people that couldn't write me in on the Republican primary because it's still closed primaries in Pennsylvania. The people that on the campaign trail could appreciate my ability to articulate views as a Republican that was black, that was from Penn Hills, that grew up working class, that had a certain level of education, had a certain background, and be able to talk to cross sections of not only that congressional district, but also the country. I remember having that conversation with the Post-Gazette editorial board. And I don't know, ironically, I think that they knew I knew some issues, but I think that they were looking for a radio show host to come into the editorial board meeting and quickly realized they were dealing with a real candidate that studied the issues well, that knew people well. And some of the comments that I got from those editorial board members about how they felt about my candidacy that they would not put on the record afterwards articulated the fact that people are still looking for something different out there. They are disappointed. They were disappointed in 16. They're much more disappointed in 26. And the cynicism, and I know I'm going to hear it at 866-391-1020, people are going to call in here cynically about last night. In addition to the war, in addition to gas prices, in addition to the Epstein files, in addition to Truth Social posts. But I can say 10 years ago on this day, I saw people once again say, yeah, there are people that we can trust. There are people we'll take a chance on. There are people that we hope will continue to listen to us. And I know that at least on that day, with the effort that the team that I worked on had, we were willing to show that we can be those people if you gave us a chance. And so, if nothing else, I want to make it a point to make sure I say thank you to those folks. Because some of those folks, unfortunately, have gone on to their heavenly reward. Some of those folks are still out there. Some of those folks don't live in the region. But all of them remain special to me. And it's just, when you get to those round number anniversaries, the 5s, the 10s, the 25s, the 20s, you're more inclined to be a little bit more reflective. I talk about that in the book, inflection points being reflection points. Well, this is a organic reflection point. So before I dive into last night at 866-391-1020, that was one of the things I wanted to say thank you about. in addition to being here, obviously, in addition to being able to spend time with you, I also wanted to make sure I said thank you to those folks, both those here and those that are gone, just for walking with me, knocking on doors with me, handing out materials with me, and being at the polling stations. I was all across the congressional district on that day. And it was a day I'll never forget. And matter of fact, I will go to break on this. I'll never forget that before St. Bart's University closed, that a kid that graduated from the university got a chance to vote for himself at the university and watch other people do the same. That was kind of cool. Not from an ego perspective, but from a people that have known me since I was 11 years old, believe in me enough to write down my name and say, please serve us as a servant leader. Sorry, you don't forget those things. So I just wanted to take a moment on a nice round number anniversary and say thank you. I'll touch upon something else, and then I'm going to get into an interview, and then I'm going to get to your phone calls. But first, I'm going to go to break here on News Radio KDKA.
Your source for official traffic information. Hear it on News Radio KDKA.
April's the perfect time to refresh your home with beautiful custom window treatments from Lachina Drapery and Blind Factory. Lachina makes custom products in their own Pittsburgh factory. 60 years of quality craftsmanship. Draperies, blinds, shades, shutters, and upholstery. Low factory direct prices. Go to lachinadrapery.com. Shop Lachina's pre-shop at home service. Visit their showrooms or call 412-665-4900. Lachina Drapery and Blind Factory. Quality you deserve, prices you'll appreciate.
More amazing specials for the month of April at Coons Market. Isn't that right, Frank Dentisi?
Right, Rob. In our meat department, choice flat iron steaks are $8.99 a pound. In the produce department, large Dole mangoes are 4 for $5. In the deli, Coons 8-piece fried chicken is $6.99 each. An additional savings this week, selected varieties of wishbone salad dressing, 15-ounce bottles, 2 for $5.
It's all happening now at Coons Market. Coons Market, a Pittsburgh tradition.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. If you or someone you care about is facing a family law issue, let us set up a 1-hour Cordell Consult. The Cordell Consult is a meeting with a local attorney who will give you clear guidance about your options, whether it's a separation, a postnuptial agreement, divorce, or custody. CordellCordell.com.
Pittsburgh and Cranberry Township. Joseph Cordell. Licensed in Missouri and Illinois only.
The KDKA radio text line is driven by Kenny Ross Auto Group. Find your best deal and Pittsburgh's best warranty at kennyross.com.
You served behind the desk.
You served in combat.
You did 4 years and got out.
You were drafted.
You gave 20 years.
You gave exactly what your country needed.
You are a veteran.
You are a veteran.
You are a veteran. And you deserve support.
If you're struggling with life after service, don't wait. Reach out.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
At a time when children are in crisis, the Kids Mental Health Foundation envisions a future where mental health is a vital part of growing up, and support starts with all of us. At home, at school, at practice, everywhere kids are.
If you're at school having a bad day, you just don't want to do anything.
I just get these thoughts like, do better. All my little emotions in my head is just running crazy. I don't know what to do.
As a teacher or coach, do you ever feel overwhelmed?
He's just in tears in the huddle. I was like, what's wrong? And he's just like, I'm just so frustrated, and I didn't know what to do.
None of my undergraduate studies talked about mental health.
Teachers need tons of help.
The Kids Mental Health Foundation is the leading organization promoting mental health for children in the U.S. and has free tools and information developed by experts.
Having those resources is the same as the CPR class to me. We're trying to save a life here.
Check out kidsmentalhealthfoundation.org to get started.
SchultzFord.com. 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 SchultzFord.com.
Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
Now, one of the other things I wanted to talk about, and it will tie into the interview I have, and then, of course, get into the phone lines at 866-391-1020. I thoroughly enjoy serving young people, being there as a mentor, as an example, less an example of you can be great, not that, more of you can succeed because I succeeded. If I am able to succeed, certainly you can. And that matters. That matters a lot. So that said, I had an opportunity to do that once again over the last couple of days. I often talk about Founding Forward and the Union League and things along those lines because it is meaningful to be out there and talk to those kids. You know, those kids still believe in America. Those kids still have a sense of optimism. Now, I will be honest with you. They're cynical like you and me. I'm not really cynical. Some of you all definitely are. They can be cynical. They can say, I've seen this story before. I know how this could or should or will likely play out. But much like the people I talked about from 2016, they are certainly inclined to take a flyer on a person or a set of people, if they happen to exist and coalesce together, that are willing to do the right thing. And one of the things I've always learned about doing Founding Forward in the Spirit of America times and the speeches I've done there, or in this case, last night lecture, it was more like a lecture than a speech. It was really interactive. Same thing with Good Citizen Day. These kids want to believe. They want to do the right thing. They want to see that the things we taught them about American history can still come true. One of the things I do with them is I remind them every single demographic in America has made a sacrifice. Every single demographic in America has a place in the American story. Every single demographic in America has a right to the flag. There's no such thing as saying, you know, Asian Americans just aren't as patriotic because they haven't been here as long. That's balderdash, as some radio announcer from 1934 would say. The young kids get it. Which is why if you're going to spend any time doing anything in this world, if you're going to give any volunteer time, try to give it to kids that are inclined to have that audacity of hope, I dare say. Uh-oh. My Republican card just got pulled by somebody because I said that phrase. That said, pull it because they're probably not Republicans anyway. They're just bantering around as frauds with the name attached to their foreheads for a moment. Not for much longer, it seems like. That said, I've always found value, and I still find value in helping young people. Now, the story that's going to come up, and we're going to talk about it, I'm going to talk to Ken Manning about his lawsuit against McDonald's. And again, those of you that know me understand the delicious irony of McDonald's in a lawsuit. Double entendre on delicious, even though you don't usually say delicious with McDonald's food, but I digress on that. People forget that what I did with McDonald's was not about trying to be famous. In fact, I was trying to do it behind the scenes initially. People forget about the story, this aspect, or they forget this aspect about the story. That I called the guy, voice to voice, figured I'd resolve it or get more information about it behind the scenes. It was when I got hung up on as well and called names. Is when I said, okay, well, this kid ain't going to get no help trying to do it, quote unquote, man to man, because there's only one man talking and there's a, grown kid on the other line throwing a temper tantrum. There is a joy not only helping young people, but there's a joy in doing the right thing by people. From a corporate sense, a personal sense, a spiritual sense, a civic sense. And we've generally lost that. This lawsuit seems to kind of go down that path as well. So we'll talk about it after the break. But it's consistent with what I experienced 10 years ago, what I experienced from that incident 15 years ago, which, as I mentioned, it's coming on the 15-year anniversary of that. Certain things never go away. Certain values never go away. Certain positions that I have or that we claim that we want from people, they don't go away. And I guess it's a good thing, even if it's hard. So, been reflecting upon that, especially when you got 1,000 miles to drive over the course of 2 days. You got a lot of windshield time to reflect upon a lot of things while you're driving in the rain at 11 o'clock at night. Or later, because it was later. That said, I'm going to the news, going to the interview, then I'm coming back to 866-391-1020 to talk to you. But in the meanwhile, stick around. I'll be back on the other side. Lenny McAllister, you and I, until 6 on News Radio KDKA.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-323-8922. 800-323-8922. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-323-8922.
New to Medicare, get covered with MediConnect. Listen Wednesdays around 1:40 to hear Lance O'Brien of MediConnect help you navigate the Medicare process. Simply great, unbiased information to get you the best healthcare coverage. Get covered with MediConnect. Medicare made simple.
For generations, you've listened to us in your kitchen, catching baseball games on your front porch, and ending your day as your bedtime buddy. Now, you can watch us every day on your TV with our new KDKA Radio YouTube page or by clicking on KDKARadio.com. It's presented by Metropolitan Windows. Same great content, more live visuals. The voice of Pittsburgh, 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
Your source for the AccuWeather forecast. Hear it on News Radio KDKA. From the Aetna Medicare studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
Special report. Alleged writings from the man accused of trying to attack the White House Correspondents' Dinner last night outline his motivations. President Trump called into Fox News today.
The guy is a sick guy. When you read his manifesto, he hates Christians. That's one thing for sure.
The suspect, 31-year-old Cole Allen from Torrance, California, contacted family members minutes before the shooting. CBS News correspondent Nicole Skanga.
The alleged gunman sent out this long letter to family members. In it, he said, administration officials, they are targets.
Family members told police Allen had made his views well known in the past about the administration. CBS News contributor Sam Vinograd.
Every person in this country needs to say something when they see something. An individual in their circle, at their workplace, in their family is demonstrating signs that they could be going down a pathway to violence.
CBS News special report on what.
The secret is out.
With millions of younger-looking customers across the country, Plexiderm is one of the most highly sought-after products on the market. It visibly shrinks under-eye bags and smooths out crow's feet in minutes, and the effects last up to 10 hours. Influencers love it, magazines feature it, and people just can't get enough of it. As a matter of fact, Elle Magazine gave it an Editor's Choice Award as Best Instant Wrinkle Filler for 2025. In as little as 10 minutes, Plexiderm reduces the appearance of fine lines, wrinkles, and those dreaded under-eye bags. So yes, you can look years younger in minutes, and the effects last for hours. No surgery, no gimmicks, just results. The best news, you can try Plexiderm for only $14.95. Plus, get free shipping. Call 1-800-598-6439. That's 1-800-598-6439. Or visit plexiderm.com/trial. Paid for by Sheer Science.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Pittsburgh's very own board-certified and licensed hypnotherapist Dan Vitchoff of the PA Hypnosis Center is here to help you. He has helped train U.S. Olympic team members control their brains, stay relaxed, focused, and in control, giving them the edge for the gold. He's recognized by many organizations around the world as one of the top hypnotherapists anywhere. He has gotten over 3,000 people to give up cigarettes for good in the last 22 years. He's helped folks even who've tried gastric bypass to lose weight. He can help you and give you a 98% success guarantee. Call 724-934-8446. That's Dan Vitchoff, the PA Hypnosis Center. Mention KDKA and get $50 off any program. But call for a free consultation today, 724-934-8446. The PA Hypnosis Center with Dan Vitchoff. Make that call today, 724-934-8446.
Attention, Pittsburgh area residents. If you have Medicaid and need help with activities of basic living, Freedom Care can make it easy. With Freedom Care, the person who cares for you can be someone you love, your family, your friend, or a trusted neighbor. They can assist you with meals, bathing, eating, mobility, and more. And Medicaid pays them for your care. You stay in the home you love, surrounded by the people you choose, and it's 100% free to you. Don't wait. Call Freedom Care now. Call 412-674-5196. With Freedom Care, you get the care you need, and your loved one gets paid instantly after every shift. Feel better, heal better, and live better at home with Freedom Care. Call 412-674-5196 or visit freedomcare.com today. That's 412-674-5196. Again, 412-674-5196. 412-674-5196.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
Sunshine will make a return appearance this afternoon with a high of 65. Clear with a low of 44 tonight, then sun and some afternoon clouds tomorrow, high of warmer 74. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zaire, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
All right, Lenny McAllister, you and I together. Coming in. Open up those phone lines at the top of the hour. And meanwhile, I have Mr. Ken Manning on the line. He is the lead plaintiff in a lawsuit against McDonald's, which, by the way, kind sir, I was not one that sued McDonald's, but I know people that have. But yours seems to have a little bit of a different type of situation attached to it. First and foremost, thank you for joining me here on News Radio KDKA.
Well, thanks for having me, Lenny. Appreciate it.
So tell me a little bit in regards to the circumstances around it, because again, one of the things that people don't realize is it's not as if McDonald's owns all of these franchises. I mean, the whole purpose of being a franchisee is a model that came from McDonald's over the years, and that's a way that people have been able to get into the game and build up themselves as business owners. And that sounds like this is part of where your background came from, but then you kind of ran into some turbulence with McDonald's corporate's office.
Yeah, so I started McDonald's in September of 1976 as a dishwasher, just past my 16th birthday in New York City for an operator, a large multiple operator in New York at the time, who owned, I think at the time we opened up store number 19. He grew to 38 restaurants. Worked my way up the ranks, a couple of years of college, left college after a couple of years, and then, got promoted to manager, assistant manager, went off to Philadelphia, started my basically full-time career at McDonald's. And what you do is just work your way up the ranks and hope to own a restaurant one day, which is what I did. So in 2001, I got my first couple of restaurants in North Carolina. Things were well. And then again, a third store in 2004. So, things are going pretty good. And you just kind of go along with what's going on. What was interesting about how the lawsuit came about in 2020, two female black executives filed a lawsuit against McDonald's, the Gusta Hines, Dominica Neal lawsuit. I believe it was January 7th, 2020, and let the world know at the time that McDonald's had been systemically discriminating against black franchisees, black consumers in the form of what they marketed to, and then black executives. And that's when I guess we found out why we weren't as successful as our white counterparts inside of the McDonald's system.
Now, what's interesting to me is this, Ken, is the fact that when you look at the clientele, you look at who goes to McDonald's, it's working class folks. And you find McDonald's everywhere, as you well know. But it's generally speaking, working class folks that need something on the go. A lot of times those are urban-based or suburban-based families, which can be disproportionately black and brown. And then from there, we've heard the stories over the years of how McDonald's specifically markets to African-American audiences. We have seen this across the many different cities where there are special marketing campaigns that McDonald's will drive specifically to go get the working class African-American family, from what the commercials on TV look like to what you hear on the radio. So it seems odd to me that there would be a disconnect between how they would treat their franchisees and what the public face was. Tell me a little bit about your experience going through that, where you're saying, okay, look, I've been part of the McDonald's family for decades. Why am I getting this type of treatment to the point of time where I feel like I got to, pursue a lawsuit?
Well, what we didn't know was that it was systemic in nature. And so we were led to believe that any issues or challenges that we had inside of McDonald's was self-inflicted, that it was just operator performance. It was not location performance. It was purely operational performance and operator performance, and that we received plenty of data that would point to the fact that you needed to do better in this area. You needed to do better. You needed to control labor in this area. You needed to control food costs in this area. You needed to manage this. And so the policy of race matching in McDonald's was around for decades. So McDonald's had a policy that thought, particularly when, you got to remember, African Americans didn't enter the McDonald's system until 1968. McDonald's was a franchise unit of operations since 1955.
Yeah, people wouldn't. That's an interesting point, Ken, because, I mean, again, people feel as though that an operation such as McDonald's people generally don't think that there was a before and after, and that line was still drawn by the civil rights movement. So to your point, you're basically illustrating that people had to fight for the right to have black franchisees, and there was going to be tensions there. And you're saying even though there was that glass ceiling that got cracked, you're illustrating to us that the tensions remained and some of the systemic issues also remained.
Yeah, and so what when you come into franchising, you're placed and steered into these low volume, high expense restaurants in the inner city, and you go in and we don't have problems working with our folks, right, with our people, but you go in hoping that one day you will get opportunities for suburban restaurants. It was all about the portfolio and the mix of restaurants that you needed in order to survive. And so those stores had lower expenses, lower rents, higher profits, higher sales. And in fact, that was the ticket to real success in McDonald's, right? It's location-based. Yes, a lot of it is operation-based, but, a location that has 4% rent in the suburbs that does, a few $1 million in annual sales generates a significant amount of profit. Locations that are in urban areas that have high crime, high insurance, high rent, and vandalism. I mean, you name it. Those stores are lower volume, and then it takes a toll on the profitability. And so you go in thinking that at some point you will get this opportunity. Well, as African Americans, as you know, we work harder and faster and get up earlier than most, right? That's what we do to survive. That's what we do to make it. And so we're running a race that there's, two different races running here. And you wait for that day, and every time you think something's coming your way, you're told nothing was available. We don't have anything over here. Oh, that rent is the rent that everybody pays. And so you go about your day, keep your head down, and you keep plodding away. And until these executives on January 7th, 2020, let the world know that, no, it's systemic. It's coordinated at the highest level in McDonald's. And we say, wow. So, a few of us got together and started looking at some of our old documents, some of our old paperwork, and started to see commonalities across, a group of us. And the lawsuit grew to what it is today, 77 former black operators.
I'm talking to Ken Manning. He is an owner-operator of McDonald's that is part of a class action suit against the organization, the corporation, in regards to what they allege is systemic racism in some of their practices. Ken, tell me about how you networked across the country to create this type of lawsuit, because I have to imagine that, you didn't just find 5 owner-operators in the city that you're in primarily. This is something that you're alleging is across the board.
Yeah, so no, actually, it did happen where we had Jim Bird, who had a action against McDonald's as well. And ours is actually a multi-plaintiff lawsuit, not a class action. It's a little different. Jim Bird filed an actual class action lawsuit in November of 2020. Prior to that, he orchestrated getting a bunch of us. Let me back up. Atlanta was the largest region with the highest amount of black operators in the system. We had 31 total entities here in Atlanta. And so, 14 out of that 31 were forced out in between the Chris K and Steve Easterbrook era. And so, between those operators who had long tenures, we were able to reach out to folks. Obviously, with our National Black McDonald's Operator Association, we had contact information on all former black operators, and we just called folks and said, hey, are you aware of this? Did you know that, these things were happening from a systemic standpoint? And folks, decided to, investigate whether they ought to join the lawsuit or not. The Jim Ferraro firm, who started the lawsuit, did his due diligence with those clients, potential clients, and hence we filed an initial lawsuit with 52 former black operators in August 31st of 2020. We amended that complaint in November of 2020 to include an additional 27 who joined after the original lawsuit was filed in August. So once the word got out, an additional 27 came forward.
How is twofold, if I may, Ken? Number one, how has the African American community been responding to this? And then how has the civil rights community been responding to this?
Well, I don't have any personal interaction with the civil rights organizations. I've not been contacted by them. And as far as the community, McDonald's is one of the largest media spenders in America. Let's keep it real. And so, they're going to spend their way to a glowing view of McDonald's. We have not been out on any campaign that talks bad about McDonald's or looks to damage the McDonald's brand. What we have asked is to have our day in court, to have discovery lifted, and to get to the process of the facts. And so we've basically relied on our attorneys to guide us in that area, and basically have been patiently waiting for now 6 years for discovery to be lifted and to get the case started. And so a lot of it is that the case has been on a procedural hold since the motion to dismiss discovery was held in January of 2021, and so we have not had one bit of discovery in this case yet.
Ken, what would be the best case scenario for you all as plaintiffs with this lawsuit? What's the remedy that you're looking for? Is it monetary? Is it just, hey, we're going to create certain processes to make sure that these franchisees have access to this within a certain amount of time based on these numbers? What exactly do you all think the remedy should be based on this growing momentum that it seems like you all have had over the last several years?
Well, obviously we want McDonald's to settle this lawsuit in a way that makes up for the claims that we have alleged. That would be the ideal. McDonald's has all the data. They have all the facts. They see it before one piece of discovery gets out. And so they can settle this lawsuit in a way that will be the right thing to do. The changes that have been made in the system since the filing of our lawsuit have been good. A lot of those operators that are still in the system are now starting to see access to suburban markets, access to multi-states where operators are now buying stores across states, African-American operators, I should say. White operators always had access to buy stores across multi-states. Now you're seeing African-American operators being able to buy stores across multi-states. One just recently bought 30-plus stores across 4 states. And so we're seeing the changes, but there are things that were not given to us while we were in the system that we expect to have our day in court, and hopefully a jury gives it to us, or we expect McDonald's to really do the right thing. And let's be clear, I spent 41 straight years in the McDonald's system. McDonald's has had a very great success on the backs of African Americans, and we were not against the McDonald's system. We worked hard to build the McDonald's system, and a lot of us in this case have decades of experience. So we expect McDonald's to do the right thing.
So if people wanted to get more information on what you all are doing and try to get behind your momentum and educate themselves on that, Ken, where would they do that?
It's best to contact our attorney, Lovey & Lovey, out of Chicago. We have 2 attorney firms. You have the Manning case with Lovey & Lovey. You have the McPherson case against McDonald's. Lovey & Lovey is the attorney on that. And then you have the King/Crawford case where Jim Ferraro out of Miami is the lead attorney on that. So any of the attorneys would be the place to get all the latest up-to-date information, unless you have access to court docket and public record.
Is there a website that people can go to? Because I'm sure there are people out here in the listening audience that are interested in hearing about this, especially considering how much working class folks and African Americans support McDonald's. Is there a website they can go to before I let you go?
All the attorney firms have websites. So Ferraro Law Firm has a website, and then loveyandlovey.com is the website. Those will be the 2 where the information for the lawsuit is on those law offices' website.
Ken Manning, do appreciate you spending time with us here on News Radio KDKA. Kind sir, you have a wonderful Sunday.
I appreciate you having me. Thank you.
No problem at all. 866-391-1020. I'm going to crack open these phone lines after this break here on News Radio KDKA.
Join KDKA Radio Saturday at noon for Minority Health Matters, a monthly look at health disparities in the African American community. It's brought to you by Central Outreach Wellness Center, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
Breaking news for your home. Way Day is here. It's Wayfair's big sale, where you can score the best deals in home, like up to 80% off with free shipping on everything. Plus surprise flash deals all Way Day long. You won't find better deals for your home anywhere else. We're talking furniture, decor, rugs, and more, all at Wayfair, and all up to 80% off during Way Day. So don't wait. Shop Wayfair's Way Day now through April 27th to score the best deals in home.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
In a world in need of a hero, one man rises to the challenge in style. He is...
just driving the kids to soccer practice.
Make every day feel epic in the all-new Hyundai Palisade Hybrid with up to an EPA-estimated 619 miles of range on select trims, advanced tech, and class-leading interior space. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details.
And hey, come on, no cleats on the seats.
You served behind the desk.
You served in combat.
You did 4 years and got out.
You were drafted.
You gave 20 years.
You gave exactly what your country needed.
And so did you.
When you raised your hand and swore an oath to your country, when you put your name on a dotted line, you became part of only 1% of Americans who did the same. You are a veteran.
You are a veteran.
You are a veteran. Because no matter when, where, or how you served, you made a sacrifice for your country, and you deserve support.
If you're struggling with life after service, don't wait. Reach out.
Reach out to a loved one, to a fellow veteran, to VA.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
The Village at St. Barnabas, the perfect place for mom.
At a time when children are in crisis, the Kids Mental Health Foundation envisions a future where mental health is a vital part of growing up, and support starts with all of us. At home, at school, at practice, everywhere kids are.
If you're at school having a bad day, you just don't want to do anything.
I just get these thoughts like, do better. All my little emotions in my head is just running crazy. I don't know what to do.
As a teacher or coach, do you ever feel overwhelmed?
He's just in tears in the huddle. I was like, what's wrong? And he's just like, I'm just so frustrated, and I didn't know what to do.
None of my undergraduate studies talked about mental health.
Teachers need tons of help.
The Kids Mental Health Foundation is the leading organization promoting mental health for children in the U.S. and has free tools and information developed by experts.
Having those resources is the same as the CPR class to me. We're trying to save a life here.
Check out kidsmentalhealthfoundation.org to get started.
The Colorectal Cancer Alliance wants you to know a lot of things in life are preventable.
Ooh, gas station sushi.
That's preventable. And even colon cancer can be preventable if you get screened. If you're 45 or older, talk to your doctor. Go to colorectalcancer.org to learn more.
All right, son. Time to put out this campfire.
Dad, we learned about this in school.
Oh, did you now? Okay. What's first?
Smokey Bear said to.
First, drown it with a bucket of water. Then stir it with a shovel.
Wow, you sound just like him.
Then he said,
if it's still warm, then do it again.
Where can I learn all this?
It's all on SmokeyBear.com with other wildfire prevention tips. Because only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Ms. Fernandez, what are those tiny things?
Those are what we call amoebas. You can only see them through a microscope.
Wow.
Today's students are tomorrow's great thinkers and innovators. But right now, there's a funding crisis in public schools. Millions of kids go to schools that don't have funding for books, computers, and so much more just because of where they live. You can help change that. Donor Shoes is a nonprofit that lets you support students and teachers in your community and beyond. You choose which supplies to support. You could provide first graders with pencils and paper, or other students with their first chapter books, help a music class get a guitar.
You could even supply a classroom like mine with a science project. But what you're really giving is the moment that sparks a brighter tomorrow.
To learn more, please visit DonorsChoose.org. That's donorschoose.org. Choose students. Shape the future.
Hi, I'm Peter Sagal. When we were growing up, my two brothers and I just loved our Uncle Ted. He was like a really cool big brother who always brought around the best toys and took us to the best places and with whom we always had the most fun. It was odd, though, when we got older, to realize he wasn't nearly as outgoing and adventurous with other adults. I found out much later that this might have had something to do with the ostomy bag he wore ever since he was diagnosed with Crohn's disease as a teenager and had part of his lower intestine removed. Theodor Skolnick, my Uncle Ted, died last year at the age of 80, never having once mentioned his illness to me or my brothers. He left a large bequest to the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation to help fund better treatments for these diseases and also to help other people, old and young, seek and get help for the situation that he was never able to talk about. Don't feel you need to hide your Crohn's or colitis. Go to spillyourguts.org to learn more about the treatments available and even find a specialist. That's spillyourguts.org.
You served behind the desk.
You served in combat.
You did 4 years and got out.
You were drafted.
You gave 20 years.
You gave exactly what your country needed.
You are a veteran.
You are a veteran.
You are a veteran, and you deserve support.
If you're struggling with life after service, don't wait. Reach out.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
Man, I love this place. I've been surfing here since I was a kid. Now, seeing my grandson out on the water, it means everything to me. Watching him and taking in the blue waves, the sea breeze, the blurry horizon.
If you have geographic atrophy, or GA, subtle changes in vision could mean it's progressing toward irreversible vision loss. Izervay is proven to slow GA progression and could help preserve your vision for longer, so you may keep seeing the world around you. Izervay, or avacincaptad pegol, is an eye injection. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may cause blood in the white of the eye, blurred vision, or a temporary increase in eye pressure. Do not drive or use machinery until vision has recovered after an eye injection or exam. Ask your retina specialist how you can slow your GA with Izervay. To learn more, call 1-855-IZERVAY or go to izervay.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
SchultzFord.com. 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 SchultzFord.com.
100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA. Covered by JP Roofing and Siding. Pittsburgh's #1 platinum roofing company. Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
KDKA and KDKA-FM HD2 Pittsburgh. W261AX Pittsburgh.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Aetna Medicare Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Wendy Gillette. Investigators say the suspect who opened fire just outside the ballroom door where the White House Correspondents' Dinner was taking place last night was armed with 2 guns and knives. He was taken down by the Secret Service before he was able to enter. CBS News correspondent Nancy Cordes.
There was security outside the hotel, but the actual magnetometers that we all have to pass through every year to get into the ballroom, those are much closer to the ballroom itself. And that's why this individual, who apparently had thought to get a hotel room a couple of days ago so that he could walk in and out of the hotel undetected, that's why he was able to get so close to the ballroom itself.
Inside, CBS News correspondent Weijia Jiang was sitting right next to President Trump and describes what happened.
It all happened so fast. When we were still on stage, we were in the middle of a very light moment with the entertainer who was doing a trick. And when I heard something in the audience, I thought it was a protester or something we're very used to. But then I saw SWAT team members come to the head table and rush us to the ground and say, down, down, down.
President Trump issued another warning to Iran while speaking to Fox News today.
I hope they're going to be smart. And if they're not smart, we're going to win anyway.
A short-term ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah fighters in Lebanon could be in jeopardy. Reporter Linda Gradstein from Jerusalem.
The Israeli army says a soldier was killed and 6 wounded in a Hezbollah drone attack in southern Lebanon on Sunday. Hezbollah rejected Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's accusation that Hezbollah is jeopardizing the ceasefire and said it is responding to Israeli violations of the truce. The Israeli army said it carried out airstrikes and artillery shelling in South Lebanon aimed at Hezbollah troops and rocket launchers that were preparing attacks on Israel.
There could be major storms in parts of the plains through tomorrow. National Weather Service meteorologist Frank Pereira explains why.
Warm, moist air coming up from the south, and we've still got cold air clashing with it from Canada. So when those two start to come together, that's when we start to see, this uptick in activity.
There was a very big breakthrough in the sports world. The BBC's Gurvinda Gill.
Sebastian Solway of Kenya has made history by becoming the first man to run a marathon in under 2 hours. He claimed the title at the London Marathon with a time of 1 hour, 59 minutes and 30 seconds.
This is CBS News.
It's one of the most successful law and justice programs in television history that continues to uncover the truth. 48 Hours, Saturday on CBS and streaming on Paramount+.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-507-9701. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-507-9701. That's 800-507-9701. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
AI scams are getting very personal.
Kyle Holder handed over her life savings, more than $240,000 to scammers.
Please assure me this is not a scam. I actually said that to her.
Using AI, they created a female character who shared Kyle's interests to communicate with her, convincing her to put money into bogus crypto accounts. Harry Chavis is an IRS investigator.
You have tools that can really now so specifically write a script specifically for you as a victim, not just a population as a whole.
He says crypto scams accounted for more than half of the $20 billion fleeced from Americans last year.
I can't believe I just handed over all that money.
Steve Kathan, CBS News.
Get ready for earnings week on Wall Street. More than a third of S&P companies will report their earnings this week, including Microsoft, Apple, Alphabet, Amazon, and Meta. This is CBS News.
When you get a diagnosis of Parkinson's disease, things get real.
And nobody understands that better than the Parkinson's Foundation. All across the country, we provide resources and support in the fight against Parkinson's, a neurological disease that affects movement.
The Parkinson's Foundation is dedicated to improving care and advancing research towards a cure.
And when you call our helpline, you'll speak to a real person who can help you find the right information. Because while living with Parkinson's can be challenging, there are things you can do to improve your quality of life. So, whether you're newly diagnosed, have been living with Parkinson's for years, or caring for a loved one.
When Parkinson's gets real, find real answers at the Parkinson's Foundation.
Go to parkinson.org or call our helpline at 1-800-4PD-INFO, 1-800-473-4636. The Parkinson's Foundation. Better lives together.
Ms. Fernandez, what are those tiny things?
Those are what we call amoebas. You can only see them through a microscope.
Wow. Today's students are tomorrow's great thinkers and innovators. But right now, there's a funding crisis in public schools. Millions of kids go to schools that don't have funding for books, computers, and so much more just because of where they live. You can help change that. Donor Shoes is a nonprofit that lets you support students and teachers in your community and beyond. You choose which supplies to support. You could provide first graders with pencils and paper, or other students with their first chapter books, help a music class get a guitar.
You could even supply a classroom like mine with a science project. But what you're really giving is the moment that sparks a brighter tomorrow.
To learn more, please visit DonorsChoose.org. That's DonorsChoose.org. Choose students. Shape the future.
At a time when children are in crisis, the Kids Mental Health Foundation envisions a future where mental health is a vital part of growing up, and support starts with all of us. At home, at school, at practice, everywhere kids are.
If you're at school having a bad day, you just don't want to do anything.
I just get these thoughts like, do better. All my little emotions in my head is just running crazy. I don't know what to do.
As a teacher or coach, do you ever feel overwhelmed?
He's just in tears in the huddle. I was like, what's wrong? And he's just like, I'm just so frustrated, and I didn't know what to do.
None of my undergraduate studies talked about mental health.
Teachers need tons of help.
The Kids Mental Health Foundation is the leading organization promoting mental health for children in the U.S. and has free tools and information developed by experts.
Having those resources is the same as the CPR class to me. We're trying to save a life here.
Check out kidsmentalhealthfoundation.org to get started.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
Will turn out mostly sunny with a high of 65 this afternoon, then clear, low 44 tonight. Warming up with sun and afternoon clouds, high 74 tomorrow. For AccuWeather, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
All righty, here we go. 866-391-1020. Let me just go ahead and open up the phone lines. Cynthia in Florida, you're on KDK.
Oh, boy. Listen, I haven't watched one of these correspondence dinners since Bush joked about WMDs, and these Mockingbird media stenographers laughed. But last night, I kicked back. I'm thinking, okay, Trump hasn't been here. What crazy thing is he going to announce? Something's not right here. And I'm watching this. You know, they took J.D. Vance out first.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Trump out first. So there are, and I have said this on this station, and I have given thanks to the military brass who realizes the menace Trump is. Alvin Holsley, head of the Southern Command, resigned because he wasn't going to kill fishermen in the Caribbean. Phelan, Navy Secretary, was just fired because he didn't want to send our boats into the Strait of Hormuz. And somebody got mad with me because I said they were floating coffins. And I went and looked up, because I know the strategy here. These drones, these mining of these ships are vulnerable. He quit. Or no, he was fired because of that. And then, who else? Oh, and then General Crane didn't want to give Trump the access to the nuclear codes. I mean, this is how desperate this man is. But yesterday I just found out today, was actually the anniversary of Virginia Giuffre's, the Epstein victims' suicide. All of this coincides. And then I see Stephen Miller running out. He has his pregnant wife in front of him. It reminded me of a scene from The Dead Zone when Martin Sheen held up a baby. So he's a coward, or he knew that nothing was going to happen. And then there's a Fox News reporter.
Well, hold on. Hold on that one. I saw the picture, and it's, if he's leading her off stage, it's like, wow, the gunman's going to be coming from the center. Why are you leaving her behind you? If you put her in front to try to get her out of there first, then it's you're leaving. You're pushing her into harm's way. I'm gonna give him a pass on that one. Look, if it were my wife and there was an exit, I'm pushing her. No, I'm pushing her towards the exit first. Because if somebody's gonna catch a bullet, it's gonna be me. between the two of us?
Well, she was in front. My husband, even me.
Going towards
my husband.
Going towards
my
an
husband
exit.
will be behind me.
Going towards an exit.
My husband would be behind me. I don't know. You don't know what the heck. When I first heard all the plates breaking, I'm thinking they're freaking out about some plates breaking. But let me get to the guy. I read his manifesto. If this is true, he's like Marjorie Taylor Greene, angry as heck that Trump is protecting his billionaire class. And that's why he didn't do anything about the Epstein files. And let me be clear on this. I didn't want Trump to be killed. I wanted him to go to prison. But then, I saw that his own supporters, there's this guy named Tim Dillon, who said, Trump, just tell us that you staged Butler, and we'll understand. So what?
Well, here's the thing, Cynthia, with that. I want to say this, because you brought that up, and I already told Mike this between commercial breaks. I was in Valley Forge last night doing the lecture, which meant that I was on the road on the way back after the lecture, which meant that I heard all this go down while I'm listening to the radio on my drive back. And so as I'm listening to the POTUS channel on XM radio, because, I'm in Philadelphia, I can't listen to KDKA.
I listen to POTUS.
Okay.
Yeah.
They were taking the feed from C-SPAN. And over the course of
That's what I was watching.
So do you recall the multiple people that called in that said that it was staged? I mean, right off the bat, people had their doubts right off the bat. They'd be like, Trump never goes. Trump didn't want to go. Trump didn't want to be there. They don't have a comedian. They have a mentalist. And as soon as he gets there, next thing you know, there's an assassination attempt. They were like, it's staged. And they said the same thing about Vance. And they said the same thing about other things. And the thing that went through my mind, because I hadn't seen anything. I still haven't seen footage per se. I've seen some, but not much. That said, the first thing that went through my mind is, man, where are we as a country where the first thing people think is that this was staged? And I heard there are more and more conspiracies on the right now calling Butler staged, which again, my thought goes to
Trump's former supporters.
Yes,
and I never believed that was staged before until I started reading the stuff about Thomas Crooks and all that, and the roof wasn't protected. I mean, come on.
So to my point, to me, I'm not going to dive into if it is or if it isn't. Where I'm going to go is, where are we as a country where this is where people are going now? Where people are saying this, and this is where and that's the question I'm posing.
Okay, and I'm going to tell you, because we have been lied to so much. Gulf of Tonkin. I think I told you before about all what used to be considered conspiracy theories that have been proven true. We have been lied to too much. And even I saw one of Trump's supporters has a social media. He said, "Here we are. I now believe Iran before I believe anything that's coming out of the mouth of anybody in the United States." And Trump had the nerve to say he called off the negotiations. No, he didn't. The Iranians refused to meet with these clowns. Kushner, who couldn't pass a security clearance, has no business being anywhere near the White House, and real estate on the bones of dead Palestinians developer Witkoff. This is where we are.
Cynthia?
Brother?
I
don't know what else to say.
I appreciate you as always. Thank you for calling in.
Thank you.
866-391-1020. And let's just be honest. We haven't had a president as divisive for good, bad, or ugly in, wow, maybe 100 years, maybe more. Now, I know there will be people at 866-391-1020 that are going to come back here and say, Barack Obama divided the country. No, Barack Obama didn't divide the country. He didn't do this. He didn't elicit this. Now, some of what he elicited was division, and we won't even go into why that was the case. We all know why. But President Obama didn't try to make his brand and find his victories in division. In fact, the only way, and people forget about this, and this is purely political, so take this as politics. Don't take this as, I'm saying something about last night. But I'm speaking very specifically from a political point of view. Donald Trump doesn't even win the nomination in 2016 if there wasn't division. People continuously forget that his superpower has been advancing power with pluralities, not majorities. He got barely a majority of the vote in 2024, if I remember correctly. Not the Electoral College. I'm talking about the popular vote. Prior to that, that's not how he would win primaries. 16 people in, then 10 people in, and maybe 12 people in a race, then 4 people in, and then he didn't have to beat everybody. He just needed to get one more past second place. And he did that a lot. You can't do that unless there's a high level of divisiveness. In fact, if you even go back to the people that were anti-Trump in 2016, he can't possibly be our nominee. And there were a lot of Republicans. Go check the history. Looking at you, Lindsey Graham. Looking at you, Marco Rubio. That said, he can't possibly be our nominee. Looking at you, Ted Cruz. Looking at you, Chris Christie. But as they were saying that division allowed the lane because they wouldn't coalesce. Let's not forget, John Kasich was told, please get out of the race. I'm staying in until the end because he figured he was going to wait until everybody else left and then he would win. Well, guess what? So did Ted Cruz. Guess what? So did Marco Rubio. Chris Christie had that hope for a while, too. From the outset of this guy's political career, division has allowed him to gain popularity and power. And I just say that because last night's just another example of how division has come home to the feet of the everyday American. And even with this, there will be people that will strengthen Trump's position. You already saw people talking about, and this is why they need the ballroom. Really? No one said that in 81. About the same Hilton in Washington about Reagan. But now, the division seems to strengthen this particular politician. At America 250 in particular, with a country that literally has the word united in its name, I don't know if that's the best thing. I'm not trying to blame the victim. I'm just making an observation. 866-391-1020, coming back after the break here on News Radio KDKA.
Your source for the AccuWeather forecast. Hear it on News Radio KDKA.
Been 30 time, would have been 30, no, would have been 30, being 30, been 29, if that'll help, been 29,000.
Get ready to bid on the equipment you need in the Ritchie Brothers Northeast Regional Auction on May 5th. Inventory is housed at locations in Pittsburgh, North Franklin, and Northeast Maryland, with in-person inspections available. Bid on a wide selection of construction and transportation equipment. Don't miss this great opportunity. Visit rbauction.com/Pittsburgh to sign up. Again, that's rbauction.com/Pittsburgh.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. If you or someone you care about is facing a family law issue, let us set up a 1-hour Cordell Consult. The Cordell Consult is a meeting with a local attorney who will give you clear guidance about your options, whether it's a separation, a postnuptial agreement, divorce, or custody. CordellCordell.com.
Pittsburgh and Cranberry Township. Joseph Cordell. Licensed in Missouri and Illinois only.
More great specials for the month of April at Coons Market. Isn't that right, Frank Dentisi?
Right, Rob. In our meat department, choice boneless chuck shoulder steaks or roasts are $5.99 a pound. In the produce department, fresh red ripe strawberries, 1-pound packages, 2 for $5. In the deli, Smith's Smokehouse Reserve ham is $7.99 a pound. And additional savings this week, Turkey Hill drinks or iced tea. 1 gallon jugs, 2 for $5.
It's all happening now at Coons Market, a Pittsburgh tradition.
Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
I know that some of you were watching online the YouTube stream, and I'm just letting you know I have a strained/sprained thumb. So the facial expressions you're seeing are me icing it, which again, the wonderful thing that makes us different than other mammals, particularly those that don't have the quote-unquote detachable thumbs, is the fact that you get to use those wonderful thumbs for things like, I don't know, getting your wallet out of your pocket or grabbing your seatbelt in the car. It's fun times when that thing ain't working the way you want it to. It's not broken. I didn't break it, but it doesn't feel good. That said, if you're looking online and you see me grimacing every now and then, that is why. 866-391-1020. Going back to the phone lines. Joanne in Point Breeze, you were on KDKA.
Hi, Lenny.
Hello.
First thing I want to say is thank goodness the draft went like it should. I mean, and thank goodness for Port Authority, PRT. They were on the money every 15 minutes. It was just, thank goodness, things went without a hitch. Because there was a lot of people involved in this. Now, the other thing, I'm going to jump to another subject. I tried that write-in thing. It's a long story, but I did try it and went all the way to the polls. I didn't get the write-in candidate because anyway, it was the last minute. It was I heard it on the radio. It said you have till 5 o'clock to get these names in if you want to run. So I was with somebody. I was on the north side. I said, take me back to the city county building. I went there, got the papers. Then years and years ago, I stood in front of where they got at Burlington when the bus got off. I got so many names, but some people just don't know where they live and what district they're in. But anyway, I got them. But it was an experience because a lot of people don't know very little about write-in candidates. But I had everything set up. But anyway, to move on about the voting, I hope that I don't hear anymore with these elections that people of color, all they do is pull the lever down for Democrats. It may be true for some people. It may be true for a lot of people, but it's not all the people. And the thing that really bothers me is how do these people that don't look like me get in for years and years if these people aren't doing the same thing and voting for the same person over and over again? But it just makes people feel good to say, oh, that's all these people of color. They don't know how to do anything else, or they're all Democrats. I mean, I'm sick of these people, these constitutional would-be scholars or voter, whatever they think they are. So let's just drop it. Let's just not hear about this anymore.
So hold on. Do you think that African Americans, by and large, don't give 90% of their vote lock, stock, and barrel to the Democratic Party and even try to consider the Republican candidate?
I think there was a time, but I don't think people look and listen now. People, or what you did, and I remember it's a long time ago at school. They used to have a voting pool, and the kids. We would all vote, but most people voted for what their parents voted for. And I didn't hear a lot about Republicans, but I did hear Democrats. So a lot of kids listened to their parents, and people were Democrats, but they were people, and they voted for the politician that their parents do, and most of the time it was Democrats.
So that you're basically you're making the point, I would think, that generally speaking they did it. Now, of course, you can make the argument that especially around here, and I know you want to talk about Trump, so I'm gonna hang you over past the news. I mean, you can make the point that this region does that. This is a one-party town, and then people will complain about the one party, and like it's a one-party town. You voted it to be this way. So you can't complain about it being this way, or you can't gloss over the things that we say we want to improve, and then when they don't improve, we shrug our shoulders and be like, well, it is what it is.
Well, it is, but we also must understand that how in the world the people that don't look like me are in the Congress, in the Senate for years and years and years ago, because the same people that don't look like me pulled the same handle and voted for the Republicans.
Did they, though? Not around here.
Well, I'm speaking just overall.
Well, I mean, the Democrats for many, many, many years controlled the House of Representatives. That flipped in '94. With some redistricting, it's been a lot stronger. But now the House goes back and forth. But even still, with all the gerrymandering that goes on with both parties, you only got 40 districts out of 435, which is less than 10% are actually competitive each year. So, I mean, it's a pox on both houses. So, I mean, part of me, I say to folks is, you get the government that you paid for and you voted for. So don't complain about the results of the government that you voted for and you paid for. Now, Cynthia, Joanne, don't go anywhere. And again, my thumb is killing me. Joanne, don't go anywhere. I want to get you after the news, so just hang tight. I see Ken. I see Luciano. I'll get to you after the news as well. 866-391-1020. I will go where you want to go, but I'm only going to go there after the news, and that will come here next on News Radio KDKA.
The best words to hear at the TSA security checkpoint? You're good to go. All it takes is a little preparation. Get to the airport early. Bring a carry-on bag that fits in the overhead, and have an acceptable ID. Not all state-issued IDs will cut it. Check out tsa.gov/ID and see which TSA acceptable IDs make the grade, like a real ID or passport.
Before you jet, do a little prep, and you're good to go. Check out tsa.gov/ID or the MyTSA app.
There's a new kind of energy at Starbucks. When your day needs a reset, try the all-new energy refreshers. Strawberry acai, mango dragon fruit, or the all-new mango strawberry. The refreshers you love, now with extra caffeine. New energy refreshers only at Starbucks.
Snakes, zombies, public speaking. The list of fears is endless. But the real danger is in your hand when you're behind the wheel. Distracted driving is what's really scary and even deadly. Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
When you get a diagnosis of Parkinson's disease, things get real.
And nobody understands that better than the Parkinson's Foundation. All across the country, we provide resources and support in the fight against Parkinson's, a neurological disease that affects movement.
The Parkinson's Foundation is dedicated to improving care and advancing research towards a cure.
And when you call our helpline, you'll speak to a real person who can help you find the right information. Because while living with Parkinson's can be challenging, there are things you can do to improve your quality of life. So, whether you're newly diagnosed, have been living with Parkinson's for years, or caring for a loved one.
When Parkinson's gets real, find real answers at the Parkinson's Foundation.
Go to parkinson.org or call our helpline at 1-800-4PD-INFO, 1-800-473-4636. The Parkinson's Foundation. Better lives together.
Ready to start thinking like Wall Street without leaving Main Street? Tune in Sunday mornings at 6:30 for a slice of advice with Kelton Burgess. Right here on the Voice of Pittsburgh, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
When you call yourself the voice of Pittsburgh, you have to know when to not talk. Sometimes you just need to be the ears of Pittsburgh. Just listen. Listen to what you have to say. These are complicated and uncertain times, but when you need us, we're here for you, and we're listening. A trusted source that you can count on to be here. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
From the Aetna Medicare Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
CBS News.
News special report. Officials say a suspect's alleged writings show he intended to target Trump administration officials when he opened fire right outside the doors leading to the White House Correspondents' Dinner in Washington. President Trump told Fox News earlier today he's grateful to the Secret Service.
They were outstanding. They stopped him cold, and there was no games being played, that I can tell you. And you just look at them, these were strong, solid people.
The suspect faces at least 2 charges. D.C. U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro.
This individual was intent on doing as much harm and as much damage as he could.
He was identified as 31-year-old Cole Allen of Torrance, California. CBS's Nicole Skanga.
According to his LinkedIn profile, the suspect worked for a tutoring and test prep company and was awarded Teacher of the Month back in 2024. He'd finished a master's in computer science last year.
CBS News special report. I'm Wendy Gillette.
In digital advertising, everyone talks about clicks, but clicks don't pay the bills. Sales do. Outcomes from Viant is a new way to advertise that prioritizes your bottom line. Our AI-driven technology looks past the noise to find the customers most likely to buy your product. It's smarter, faster, and designed for real-world results. It's smarter advertising made simple. Visit Viant.ai.
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. We're proud to offer high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids starting at just $98. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and hear the difference today by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
When you get a diagnosis of Parkinson's disease, things get real.
And nobody understands that better than the Parkinson's Foundation. All across the country, we provide resources and support in the fight against Parkinson's, a neurological disease that affects movement.
The Parkinson's Foundation is dedicated to improving care and advancing research towards a cure.
And when you call our helpline, you'll speak to a real person who can help you find the right information. Because while living with Parkinson's can be challenging, there are things you can do to improve your quality of life. So, whether you're newly diagnosed, have been living with Parkinson's for years, or caring for a loved one,
when Parkinson's gets real, find real answers at the Parkinson's Foundation.
Go to parkinson.org or call our helpline at 1-800-4PD-INFO, 1-800-473-4636. The Parkinson's Foundation. Better lives together.
The secret is out. With millions of younger-looking customers across the country, Plexiderm is one of the most highly sought-after products on the market. It visibly shrinks under-eye bags and smooths out crow's feet in minutes, and the effects last up to 10 hours. Influencers love it, magazines feature it, and people just can't get enough of it. As a matter of fact, Elle Magazine gave it an Editor's Choice Award as Best Instant Wrinkle Filler for 2025. In as little as 10 minutes, Plexiderm reduces the appearance of fine lines, wrinkles, and those dreaded under-eye bags. So yes, you can look years younger in minutes, and the effects last for hours. No surgery, no gimmicks, just results. The best news, you can try Plexiderm for only $14.95. Plus, get free shipping. Call 1-800-598-6439. That's 1-800-598-6439. Or visit plexiderm.com/trial. Paid for by Sheer Science.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred roofing replacement contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
Sunshine will make a return appearance this afternoon with a high of 65. Clear with a low of 44 tonight, then sun and some afternoon clouds tomorrow, high a warmer 74. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zaire, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
All right, Joanne, I'm coming back to you, ma'am. Go right ahead.
Okay, as far as this Trump thing, I guess the protectors got Vance out because they remembered Pence when the mob come and he said, hang the vice president. So they decided we better get the vice president out of here because who knows which way this is going to turn.
No, official reasoning was that they each have different people protecting them, and it just so happened that the people protecting Vance got to him first.
Well, this is unofficial comment.
Okay, well, okay.
But the other thing, this man who hated the news people all of a sudden wanted to wrap his arms around them, and so he can, his big mouth got him in trouble. He won't go back to Iran. He keeps sending his flunkies. Those people don't want to be boys. They want him. They want him to come since he started all this nonsense. Instead of him, as far as I'm concerned, walk softly and carry a big stick and go do what he was going to do and get on out, he went the other way. He opened his mouth, and everybody, I don't think there is a country in this world that really does not despise this man. So being we are Americans, they still have the same feeling about us. So I don't know what to say. I know he's a loose cannon. I know it's not going to end well for the USA. And all I can say is God bless America, and we need all the prayers we can get with this loose cannon in the office. And the last thing is somebody better keep an eye on him, because who knows, he can put his finger on that nuclear bomb when things don't go his way, and things aren't going his way. And he's been very quiet, so who knows what this guy's up to, because most of the time he has his big mouth going about him and nothing else. So, Lenny, thank you, and God bless America.
So, Joanne, before you say that, what famous politician in 2003 said, God bless America and no place else? Do you know who said that?
No. What other politician said that?
No other politician said that. It was actually a fake politician. It was Brian Lewis from Head of State. He was running against Mays Gilliam. Mays won.
Who was it, did you say?
Brian Lewis, the presidential candidate from Head of State, who was Sharon Stone's cousin, who ran against Chris Rock and Bernie Mac. Never mind. Right. I'm playing pop culture. I'm playing pop culture bingo with you, and you're playing like checkers or something.
And I lost.
Yes, there you go.
It's okay. I still say God bless America, because we need all the blessings we can get with this loose cannon still out there. So, all right, Lenny, thanks. Have a good day and be safe.
You too. I think we all need the blessings regardless of who's president. And Joanne evidently, clearly lost pop culture bingo on that one. She don't know Nato Jenkins. I know Nato Jenkins. Do you know Nato Jenkins? Again, same movie. 866-391-1020. Go into Luciano. Luciano, you're on KDKA.
Lenny, thank you for taking my call. Yes, I was born in Philadelphia, first 32 years in Philly, lived in Erie, Pennsylvania, lived in Allentown, Pennsylvania, lived in Doylestown, and lived in California. And here I am, 20 miles from Scranton. I'm going to die and die in Pennsylvania. Let me just say this to you, brother. I want your opinion on what they found out about the Southern Poverty Law Center this week. What is your opinion on that particular, what the Justice Department found out with the Southern SPC, Southern Poverty Law Center, what they were caught in doing, and the grand jury found them guilty? And I would listen to you, please.
The grand jury found them guilty? Because I didn't follow that. I know the case.
No, the Justice Department. You know the topic.
Well, the Justice Department has become highly politicized. I want to see the facts. Now, if they did do what they're alleged of doing, and for those of you that have not followed the story, the Southern Poverty Law Center was accused by the Justice Department of both putting groups that are designated as hate groups and putting them on a list as being hate groups, and then turning around and funding them to fund their activities. Now, I would like to see the facts behind that, because that's a Kash Patel finding, and the last I saw him, he was chugging down beers after the USA hockey team won the gold. And he was on the hot seat to be fired literally about 48 to 72 hours ago. So I'd like to see between the FBI and the Justice Department, who just lost their head, literally, I want to see what the facts come out in regards to that, because that is a rather explosive allegation. Now, there have been stranger bedfellows in American politics and American culture and American history. However, that would be a pretty strange bedfellow if that turned out to be true. That would be Clarence Bixby turning out to be black. Again, do you know who Clarence Bixby is, Luciano?
No, not at all. No, not at all.
I'm giving all kind of pop culture gems today.
You're too intellectual.
And I'm injured. This isn't very intellectual as Dave Chappelle, but I appreciate you saying it's intellectual. I'm doing this with an injured thumb, y'all. Come on now. I'm going deep into my bag. Anywho, that said.
Take some aspirin, brother.
I already did. That said, I don't know how that's going to. I would like to see it. Again, I wouldn't be surprised, and there have been incidences where you would be shocked that two people on opposite ends of certain issues had come together to try to find mutual ground to work together, quote unquote. I need to see more of the facts. I don't know enough of it yet, but that's where I sit.
We shall see what we shall see. Thank you, Lenny. Take care, brother.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
God bless. 866-391-1020. 866-391-1020. Just taking phone calls. I know what happened last night. Want to get your feedback on that or some of the other things that have happened this week, including gas prices maybe not coming down until January. Remember those stickers with the different presidents saying, I did that? Which, by the way, I hate seeing those on pumps. It's like, that's not your gas pump. Make your political statement elsewhere. Well, I guarantee you there's going to be Trump stickers coming out because I saw the Biden stickers. That said, going back to the phone lines, Ken in Lower Borough, you're on KDK.
Hey, that Southern Poverty Law Center, they're supposed to be some type of nonprofit, aren't they?
They are.
Aren't they worth like about almost $1 billion, like $850 million?
I don't know how much they're worth, but I mean, you could be.
That's what they say.
Well, you could be nonprofit. That can not be profit too, by the way.
I understand that, but you know what? That's a shame. I mean, I guess hate pays because they're worth that kind of money. But anyway, that's a shame that went on.
I mean, the Klans made a whole lot of money over the years, and there are others that would sit there and say there's other organizations that have been cashing in over the last 10 to 15 years on hate, but I won't go down that path. But
well, I'm just saying they seem to be the ones that are spewing this stuff, apparently. But anyway,
like I said, I need to see more of the facts because it could be true because human beings have been human beings. Yet at the same exact time, I need to see how far that bridge actually stretches before I'm willing to walk on that. But again, human beings will let you down 10 out of 10 times if you give them a chance.
Well, it's all about the Benjamins, and you know what? I hate to say that, but it's all money. Wherever the money goes, whoever gets paid the most to do whatever they have to do. Unfortunately, I hope that is not the case, but we'll see. We'll soon find out. But anyway, I hear Joanne on in the afternoon, and I mean, I try to come to a middle ground with some of these politicians, and I research what I have to research and see what I see out in the street. And I try to listen to Fetterman, I'll listen to Dershowitz, and I'll listen to both sides, somebody like middle of the aisle. I mean, but when I hear somebody
you think Fetterman's middle of the aisle?
Well, he's not right. He's not left. He's not as far left as somebody like Summer Lee or AOC. I'm thinking,
well, hold on. Wait a minute. I mean, if you ask him about some of the key issues like, I don't know, see where he still sits on legalizing marijuana. See where he sits on some of these other issues. Just because he said the Democratic Party has TDS, and just because he says things about Israel, does not mean all of a sudden he's a centrist. He has never been.
I liked him when he was the mayor of Braddock.
Was he a centrist then?
No, he was trying to close down a trouble bar. And he got caught doing something outside of a trouble bar, trying to close it down. Actually, I kind of liked that because he was trying to probably save somebody from getting shot. And that's what I liked about him back then. And, he went left, but he came back a little bit. But he's about the only one that I know of on the left that has done that. Another assassination attempt, and I keep pushing this. This goes down to journalists that are putting a lot of this stuff out there. I mean, the ones that were on before they were even at this dinner, they were talking of silent protests, having napkins in their pockets. Who does that? I mean, what are we, children? I mean, come on. And you know what? They spew this stuff constantly about Trump, and they spew this stuff constantly on both sides.
Well, yeah, they
and
do.
All I
They
said,
do. You do.
And all I want to do is try to do what's best for the American people. I mean, I would hope you would like to think that would be the case too.
But I speak that way all the time, Ken.
I know.
The problem is, Ken, you don't have a president right now that talks that way.
I understand that, but for how many
it makes
decades has
it makes it a lot
the other
harder.
way?
It makes it a lot harder.
I understand that, but look at it this way. I look at it this way, and let's look 30 years ago, 40 years ago, when the old night Johnny Carson's and the comedians that were on a night, they used to make fun of whoever was president. Whoever was president. And you're telling me that the nighttime people didn't have anything bad to say about Biden? Oh, come on, please. I mean, and then, here, let's go this way. Do you believe history repeats itself?
When we're not paying attention, absolutely it finds a way to do that, because human beings are human beings.
Yeah, okay, so basically. So I'm looking this, and I tell people this constantly. We're being taxed at about 50+% on every tax out there. I'm just estimating around 55%. So I go back into history. When did that not work? After the Civil War. And you're going to think this is there used to be a thing called sharecropping. Okay, well the landowners would take 50% of your crops. Well, it never worked. Well, the majority of the people
they were trying to keep those people in slavery. I mean, yeah,
the majority of the people were whites that were sharecroppers. It was on both sides.
And
it's not a racial thing.
Well, disproportionately, the sharecroppers that they took advantage of were disproportionately former slaves that they used to own. They could not even leave the land that they used to be slaves on. They were quote unquote free, but they were impoverished, and so they got locked into situations, or they were whittled out of their land through legal agreements, or they were taxed out of it.
Or they came back from the war and they were broke, and like I said, 63% of the people that were sharecroppers that lost everything were white. So I'm looking at a history repeating itself. And we're being taxed at 53% or better. How are we
being taxed at 53%?
I'm just saying every tax out there that we have right now in Pennsylvania. I mean,
is 50%?
It's over 50. It's close to 55.
Yeah, I didn't need to see that because the percentages don't play that out. I mean, you have your county tax, you have your federal tax, you have different taxes on top of each other, but you're still taking home a certain percentage that seems to be higher than 45% of your money.
Well, then you get taxed on all that other stuff that you get. You know what I'm saying?
So hold on, Ken. I'm going to let you build the rest of your case, but I'm not going to hang up on you. Stick around. I'm going to go to break. Then I'm going to come back to you to finish the rest of your point. Then I'm going to go to Dick and others. But I'm going to go to break first. So don't go anywhere, Ken. Don't go anywhere, Dick. And the rest of you all don't go anywhere. I'll be right back on News Radio KDKA.
It's the little things. The information you need. People you know. The little things that make a big difference. The voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
In a world in need of a hero, one man rises to the challenge in style. He is...
just driving the kids to soccer practice.
Make every day feel epic in the all-new Hyundai Palisade Hybrid with up to an EPA-estimated 619 miles of range on select trims, advanced tech, and class-leading interior space. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details.
And hey, come on, no cleats on the seats.
And Doug.
There's nowhere I wouldn't go to help someone customize and save on car insurance with Liberty Mutual, even if it means playing in a football game.
Boom! 42! You're going down, Doug!
Oh, yeah? Your price on car insurance when you customize and save is going down.
Hey!
Limu? What are you doing on their team? Only pay for what you need at LibertyMutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
The best words to hear at the TSA security checkpoint?
you're good to go. All it takes is a little preparation. Get to the airport early, bring a carry-on bag that fits in the overhead, and have an acceptable ID. Not all state-issued IDs will cut it. Check out tsa.gov/ID and see which TSA acceptable IDs make the grade, like a real ID or passport.
Before you jet, do a little prep, and you're good to go. Check out tsa.gov/ID or the MyTSA app.
Join Rob Pratt every Sunday at 11 a.m. for Black and Gold Sunday, presented by Coons Market, your hometown Pittsburgh grocer. Rob keeps you posted on Pittsburgh sports with 2 hours of exciting talk. That's Black and Gold Sunday, 11 to 1, presented each week by Coons Market.
SchultzFord.com, 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 SchultzFord.com.
All right, Ken, go ahead. I'm going to let you finish up. Go right ahead.
Oh, I thought you had something you wanted to add. Hello?
No, I talked about the percentages. But I was letting you continue on in regards to...
Well, I was talking. You were saying about the percentages, okay? And you're probably right. In certain states they're higher, certain states they're lower. I had a customer that had called me that I had for years that had moved to Florida, and I was asking her questions on what she was paying down there compared to what she was up here on things. And she's around Daytona, around the Daytona 500 Speedway, so I guess that's Daytona. Gas, $3.89. Her gas bill, which is a monthly average, $40 a month. Electric bill, $58 a month. Water bill, $40 a month. Sewage and garbage, water is quarterly, $40. Sewage and garbage, $57. If anybody in Pennsylvania can beat that, go right ahead.
But and to your point, Ken, and I appreciate your call, part of that is you're paying for monopolies on top of monopolies. Political, cultural, corporate. These are things that have been baked into the cake for a while. I mean, the Pennsylvania Turnpike still remains as one of the most expensive roads in the United States, and it's always under construction. Always. Pennsylvania spends some of the most amounts of money on education in the country. It's also one of the highest unionized states in the country, which at one point in time used to have one of the highest levels, if not the highest level, of teacher union strikes per capita in the country. So when you have all those things that are part of the equation, and you're losing population, and the population's older, and the workforce is not as diversified, and, yeah, it makes sense to me. It's unfortunate. I think it needs to change. I think that with some different ideas and some different perspectives, you can change it. It kind of goes back to, and I know that Joanne was thanking people for how the draft went. Everybody was geeked up about the draft. The draft is done. Are we going to gain 25,000 new families over the course of the next 7 years because the draft was here? If not, it was nice to spend some money here. It was nice to break the record. That's great. That's cool. That's not transformative for the region. And the way people talked about the draft, they made it seem as though it was going to be transformative. Now, a lot of people in one particular political party and their friends got to take a whole bunch of pictures on the stage. That's cute. You would like to think as well that people that have been in power and positions of power for decades in this region would have grown tired of taking those pictures, rather than looking like a bunch of high school sophomores and juniors during prom night all the time. You go look on Facebook, you go look on social media, and it's just a matter of people continuously sharing what they have in their phone, the different clicks that they've taken. And then we shrug our shoulders as to, well, I don't know. Why are the taxes so high, Ken? Why are we spending so much? Anyhow, appreciate your call. Appreciate Joanne's call. Appreciate Cynthia's call. Dick, I'll get to you after the break. 866-391-1020. I'll dive back into what happened last night again, because and I'm going to start with this. I'm sorry, I find it troubling that people immediately went to the, hey, that was staged card. I mean, they immediately went to it. Not everybody. But when I'm listening to C-SPAN and I'm hearing people call in and say that, gas prices not going his way, people falling off, Tucker Carlson apologizing for voting for Trump. He's going off on Candace Owens. Who had that on their bingo card? Donald Trump bashes Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson. Megyn Kelly should know better because Megyn Kelly got bashed in 2015 with blood coming out of her quote-unquote whatever. He said that in 2015. So for her to get on the train and then wonder why the train's running her over yet again, it's like, you went to law school. I think she went to University of Michigan Law School. You're a law school graduate. You should be pretty smart. You should have been able to figure this one out. Oh, you didn't? Okay. Have fun with that. All that said, there were people that were listing all these things, and Epstein, and Iran, and the gas prices, and inflation, and the victory in Virginia for Democrats to redraw the map, as their way of saying, I don't know why this guy's coming to the dinner, unless if something's up. It was already alluded to on these airwaves, but people were all about that minutes after it happened. That's where I'm going after the break. I don't think that's a good thing for our country. I just don't. But I'm going to go check out the news. I advise you to do the same. Then I'm going back to 866-391-1020, starting with Dick on the other side of the news here on News Radio KDKA.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-284-1238. 800-284-1238. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-284-1238.
Allegheny County is looking for poll workers to work the election on May 19th. Poll workers earn $150 to $175 for the day plus paid training. For more info and to apply, visit AlleghenyVotes.com. That's AlleghenyVotes.com.
I've heard everything you tell yourself every time you felt different. And I want you to know, taking care of your mind is taking care of everyone you love. Love your mind. Find mental health resources at loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
KDKA and KDKA-FM HD2 Pittsburgh. W261AX Pittsburgh.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Aetna Medicare studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Wendy Gillette. A night to mark the freedom of the press turned into moments of terror when a gunman opened fire directly next to the White House Correspondents' Dinner in the Washington Hilton. Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche on CBS's Face the Nation.
As far as what happened with him coming down and breaching the perimeter, as you've seen from some videos that have already been released, he was apprehended and subdued feet away from breaking the perimeter.
CBS's Ed O'Keefe was there, along with President Trump, the First Lady, and many members of the administration.
Surveillance footage shows the suspect, 31-year-old Cole Thomas Allen of Torrance, California, raced by magnetometers just a staircase above the ballroom. He was quickly tackled and apprehended. With the suspect detained, Guests climbed up from under the tables and picked themselves off the floor. Secret Service began to secure the room and the kitchen.
Allen's alleged writings say he intended to target the Trump administration. Family members told police he sent them some of his thoughts just minutes before the shooting. CBS's Anna Schechter.
I've reviewed his writings, the statements from his family. It seemed like this person had gotten radicalized just by being fed news and information slanted through a take on social media, and that led him to believe he was justified in a horrific and deadly act, which he wanted to carry out.
Allen will be arraigned tomorrow on at least 2 charges. Buckingham Palace says King Charles and Queen Camilla will still visit Washington as planned starting Thursday. President Trump decided not to send 2 envoys to Islamabad, Pakistan this weekend for a second round of talks to try to reach a long-term solution to end the war between the U.S. and Iran. He explained why on Fox News.
We have secure lines, and if they want, we can talk. But we're not sending people to travel 18 hours to meet where you literally think of this. We had a meeting for Tuesday, and it was on Saturday that I was saying, when are we meeting? Tuesday, because it's so far.
Police say 5 women were shot early today near Indiana University in Bloomington. Chief Mike Dekoff describes what happened.
It is believed that a fight broke out between 2 females near the front of the Five Guys restaurant on Kirkwood. During the fight, multiple individuals can be seen drawing handguns, and it is believed that 2 separate individuals fired their weapons.
Police have not yet made any arrests. This is CBS News.
The stars shine brighter on CBS Morning.
This is a slam dunk.
So cute. Gail came in singing for me today.
On CBS Mornings.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-507-9701. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-507-9701. That's 800-507-9701. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
A new computer interface implanted into the brain could help people who are paralyzed. CBS's Michael Wallace has the details.
Brandon Patterson of Colorado is the first person in the world to get the implant. He has 3 ports installed on the top of his head that connect to outside computers designed to stimulate his brain's sensory and motor control. He has sensation in his hands again.
Thinking about moving my fingers, which I haven't been able to do in 9 years.
Since a car accident left him paralyzed. Dr. Daniel Kramer at the University of Colorado is leading the research.
The drive is to restore lost function to those with spinal cord injuries or ALS.
Patterson's father is excited about the possibilities.
This is amazing. This is almost Star Wars to me.
Michael Wallace, CBS News.
A former FBI agent has written a new book that includes previously unknown details about the heist of 13 artworks in 1990 from the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum in Boston. Wendy Gillette, CBS.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-507-9701. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-507-9701. That's 800-507-9701. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred roofing replacement contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
Will turn out mostly sunny with a high of 65 this afternoon, then clear, low 44 tonight. Warming up with sun and afternoon clouds, high 74 tomorrow. For AccuWeather, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
All right, going back to the phone lines. Dick and Dayton, you're on KDKA.
Hey, Lenny, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well, kind sir. How are you?
I'm doing good. I was telling your screener, I don't know if do you ever listen to Fox Sports?
Sometimes.
Oh, do you? Well, there was a friend of mine I call in the morning. He did a tour of people, and one of my friends took us there tomorrow down to Natty to play, and I got to meet and greet people. My family all played, and I'd like to get up to Pittsburgh and play on the Pittsburgh banjo sometime, and you and your friends come up and see me. But it's a talent that all my family played, and I wanted you to know that I love, KDKA, but you would always be welcome, you and your producer.
I appreciate that, kind sir, very, very much.
Do you? Do you like music?
I do. You and I have talked about this before. I told you I have to find an opportunity to catch you play.
Oh, yeah, you would love it. And I'm going to tell you something. I love it. When I used to go, to the conventions with your Pittsburgh banjo group, I knew those people, and I still see them. They're great people. But, Lenny, I'm down here. I'm at Ridge Drive, but you got to come up with your producer and here in Ohio sometime.
I look forward to doing that, man.
Okay. You have a good day. You're a great American.
Likewise, kind sir. I look forward to hearing you play, and thank you for calling in as always. I have to get over that way. I've been over there for work. I got to get over there for leisure, if you will. So, no problem in doing that. 866-391-1020. Going to Jake in Cranberry. Jake, you're on KDK.
Thank you for taking my call. I want to bring up the rhetoric that, I don't know, I hope other people hear it. But one of your previous callers said, we have to watch out with this loose cannon still out there. I don't know what you read into that statement, but what I read into it was this loose cannon who didn't get murdered last night.
No, that's not what Joanne meant. We all know that loose cannon. Hold on, Jake. You asked me, as I'm telling you. We all use loose cannon in regards to people that we think will make irrational decisions. She knows that he's going to still be president until 2028. He may not know that, or really January 2029. He may not know that, but that's what the rest of us are counting on because we still believe in the Constitution, and that's where I believe her rhetoric was coming from. It's just like people saying that before Gabby Giffords got shot, when Sarah Palin said, we still got to target these districts. Do you think that Sarah Palin was really talking about going to those districts and targeting the people and shooting them? No, it's a colloquial phrase used in regards to where are you going to focus? Or loose cannon, who do you think is not stable in their thinking and is inclined to do things by a methodical process that you can follow? That's what she meant.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that you already knew her intent.
You asked me what I thought she meant when she said it. I told you, just like, and then I gave you an example on the right that people went above, board and went beyond the pale, trying to accuse Sarah Palin of trying to call for the shooting of Gabby Gifford and how she was irresponsible for using that term and using bullseyes when everybody was doing that in 2010 before somebody decided to show up at a congresswoman's event and shoot her in the head.
Sure. Did the person have anything to do with what they were talking, what the left was talking about at the time?
The person was accused of initially first being from the left, then being from the right, and having manifestos and everything else. Yes, that shooter had some issues that they had problems with, and that's why they showed up at Gabby Giffords' event on a Saturday morning and shot her. So, again, we can do this for a while, but no, I'm not going to sit there and say when somebody says this, they automatically mean they want Trump to be killed. I'm not going to buy into that because I know the vast majority of people that hold on, Jake, I know the vast majority of people that use that phrase are not going there. And I know a lot of people, and I don't know if you're MAGA or not, but I know a lot of MAGA thinks that the rest of the world wants Trump dead. And that's not true. They want Trump to stop doing the things that Trump has been doing. And in fact, there have been former MAGA people that want Trump to stop doing what Trump has been doing. So that doesn't make somebody wanting Trump dead. That just makes folks wanting Trump to stop doing things that have done everything from slow down job creation in America to spike oil prices across the world and now have us in a war situation where, heck, his 60 days are about to come up. We're going to find out once again constitutionally whether or not he wants to follow the law and order he keeps proclaiming or not. That's a difference between that and wanting somebody murdered, just to clarify.
And there's different groups of people along the way, because there's obviously a good number of people that would want them taken care of that way. There's people that are physically taking the action to do it, and then people.
You think there's a good amount? You think there's a good number of people doing that, or do you think there's a couple of people that always want to take out somebody of power or celebrity, because that's always happened in the world?
It's way worse, in my opinion. It's way worse.
In your opinion, no. So we can talk about your opinion, or we can talk about the facts, because we know that these things spiked in 2009. The threats and they started spike. Well, I would also dare to say to you that we didn't have Kash Patel running the FBI. We didn't have Kristi Noem and all the issues she brought to the table running Homeland Security. So maybe maybe the reason why we didn't have those issues because maybe one could make the argument that there were more competent people in the roles that were keeping people safe, and as a result, you didn't see these type of threats playing out the way they have played out.
The people that were there during Jeffrey Epstein, the people that were there during Fast and Furious, the people that were there
didn't say they were perfect.
Crossfire Hurricane
didn't say they were perfect, but what I will put out there is this: if there have been 3 close call assassination attempts on this president under a Republican regime, when the Republicans control both the House and the Senate and all the levers of government, definitely this time around, who's to blame? I mean, there was a Republican lawmaker that said this is egregious. So who's to blame? Well, how did it get to this point in time?
Constant drumbeat of fascist, racist, every name.
You do realize, Jake, you do realize that literally the Trump campaign in 2024 had an event at Madison Square Garden where people were lobbing racial slurs at that event. You do realize that one of the campaign slogans against Kamala Harris was Joe and the Hoe. You do realize that. You do realize in 2015 and 2016. Oh, stop. Hold on, Jake.
No, I didn't hear what you said.
You heard what I said in regards to the bumper sticker about Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and what the little rhyming phrase was. Then I'm going to go to the third thing because you're talking about the hatred and the violence that came up. Who was the presidential candidate that literally was telling people, if somebody comes into a rally like that again and protests, knock them out and I'll pay for your legal fees? I'll wait.
Can you tell me? I don't know what you said. I don't know what you're talking about. A bumper sticker.
The bumper sticker was the slur against Kamala Harris, and I'm only going to say once. If you didn't catch it, you're going to have to go listen back on Odyssey.com. But I'm asking you a question about what presidential candidate said back in my day. If we saw somebody like that, we would just knock them out, and the next person that sees that, just knock them out, and I'll pay your legal fees. Advocating for political violence.
I think that's a lot different than
No. Who's the person that said, I can walk on Main Street and shoot somebody and I'd still have people supporting me?
And if you're going to disregard the fact that he's been in show business for 40 years.
Jake, no, you don't get that. Because the bottom line is, so was Ronald Reagan, and Ronald Reagan wasn't going around telling people to knock people out at their rallies. No, that's called political. That's called political. Well, and that's the point. There's one person that tried to have a little bit of ethics, even if you disagree with their policies, and there's another person that was just, to your point, an entertainer going which way the wind blows. You're sitting here trying to justify something, and I'm going to sit here and take whatever you're trying to justify, and I'm going to kick it over like, basically pop stick houses. Because the bottom line is, you want to sit there and say, how did we get to this point of time of violence and hatred, knowing full well, and I said this during the last hour, that this guy got to the nomination in 2016 because of hatred and division, got to the presidency because of hatred and division, justified hatred and division in multiple areas. I literally gave examples of people that were his biggest supporters that he's now doing these things with online. But then you wonder why we're going to have this back and forth where the president of the United States advocates these things and feeds into these things, but then there's not going to be a counterweight of people that are going to act the same exact way. Now, I'm not saying that they should, but I'm saying I'm not surprised. You're sitting there saying, you're sitting there clutching your pearls. Oh, my gosh. How dare I could?
He's not shooting anybody. They are.
Oh, but you know what he has been doing. He has been, for example, going after government jobs with Doge, just willy-nilly cutting jobs. He had been going after. Hold on. He had been going after DEI. He had been going after education programs. He had been demonizing people. He has been calling for arrests for people. And by the way, he did call for political violence in 2015 and 2016. I just gave you that example. Goodbye. Thank you for your phone call. Pay attention. It's an open book test. You have La Googla that you can go on your phone or, whatever Flintstone laptop you have at your house. Have the dinosaur on the inside, run on the inside, connect to this thing called the interwebs. I brought up stuff that you can look up very easily. I'm not saying I want people shooting at him, but I'm not going to sit there and say that everybody wants to shoot at Donald Trump because they disagree with Donald Trump. And I'm not putting up for Cole Allen either. But I'm not going to sit there and say, like some people try to say, and I'm sure somebody will call in here at 866-391-1020 and try to do the same exact thing, that half the country hates Trump so much they want him dead. No, they want their gas prices to come down. They want their groceries to come down. They want more job creation. The whole affordability issue and no wars issue that he ran on in 2024, that's what they want. That's what they want. They don't want ICE picking up American citizens. That's what they want. They want law and order to really mean law and order, not just be a slogan that somebody says that makes people go, USA, USA. You can chant the wrong things too. Not that USA is the wrong thing, because it's not. But a chant is not enough. That's not patriotism. That's just chanting. And Jake, I appreciate your call. Love you as a child of God, but that's the epitome of what's wrong with this country. You will look at your sliver and that's it. I got better things to do because I want to help this country heal itself and be better, not just try to win an argument. It's a lot easier to win an argument when you can kind of go to commercial break like this here on News Radio KDKA.
News, weather, traffic, and business every day. Hear it on News Radio KDKA.
To need help with activities of basic living, Freedom Care can make it easy. With Freedom Care, the person who cares for you can be someone you love, your family, your friend, or a trusted neighbor. They can assist you with meals, bathing, eating, mobility, and more, and Medicaid pays them for your care. You stay in the home you love, surrounded by the people you choose, and it's 100% free to you. Don't wait. Call Freedom Care now. Call 412-981-1620. With Freedom Care, you get the care you need, and your loved one gets paid instantly after every shift. Feel better, heal better, and live better at home with Freedom Care. Call 412-981-1620 or visit freedomcare.com today. That's 412-981-1620. Again, 412-981-1620. 412-981-1620.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. If you or someone you care about is facing a family law issue, let us set up a 1-hour Cordell Consult. The Cordell Consult is a meeting with a local attorney who will give you clear guidance about your options, whether it's a separation, a postnuptial agreement, divorce, or custody. CordellCordell.com.
Pittsburgh and Cranberry Township. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois only.
Hi, Paul Alexander here to let you know that KDKA has planned a fabulous 5-day Arizona getaway this September, and it's filling up fast. My wife, Shelley, and I want you to join us for an unforgettable trip based in beautiful Flagstaff, a relaxed mountain town that makes the perfect home base. From there, we'll explore the incredible red rocks of Sedona, travel by rail to the breathtaking Grand Canyon, a bucket list spot that everyone needs to see at least once. And then we'll take in the stunning scenery around Lake Powell with its deep blue water and wide open views. It's the perfect mix of sightseeing, natural beauty, and plenty of time to just enjoy where we are. And September is truly the sweet spot. Comfortable weather, no summer crowds, and everything planned for you. No guessing, no stress. Just show up and enjoy Arizona. Space is limited. Seats are disappearing quickly. Visit travelwithkdk.com or call 800-383-3131. Again, travel with KDK.com or call 800-383-3131. Can't wait to see you there.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
When you get a diagnosis of Parkinson's disease, things get real.
And nobody understands that better than the Parkinson's Foundation. All across the country, we provide resources and support in the fight against Parkinson's, a neurological disease that affects movement.
The Parkinson's Foundation is dedicated to improving care and advancing research towards a cure.
And when you call our helpline, you'll speak to a real person who can help you find the right information. Because while living with Parkinson's can be challenging, there are things you can do to improve your quality of life. So, whether you're newly diagnosed, have been living with Parkinson's for years, or caring for a loved one,
when Parkinson's gets real, find real answers at the Parkinson's Foundation.
Go to parkinson.org or call our helpline at 1-800-4PD-INFO, 1-800-473-4636. The Parkinson's Foundation. Better lives together.
Tune in this Sunday morning at 8 for the Coons Cooking Hour with Rob Pratt and the Coons Market team when they discuss beef recipes with lean, budget-friendly cuts. It's the Coons Cooking Hour, presented by Coons Market, your hometown Pittsburgh grocer.
Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
All right, I'm going to go to the news in a couple of minutes. Phone lines are open, 866-391-1020. And I want people to hear me loud and clear. Because the first thing that does go through my mind with all of this is this. When people go to either everybody's trying to kill Trump or Trump staged everything all over again, including Butler. That should worry you civically at a very high level. I won't say more than people firing guns at each other, because that obviously is at the top of the list. But up there from a civic perspective, because I heard both sides of it again. I was on the turnpike coming back from Valley Forge last night. And I heard both sides of that within 90 minutes of the breaking news. Multiple people, Trump staged this. You're telling me he never wants to talk to these people? He hates these people? He's the one that will forever be known as being the guy that authored fake news as a term in America. Now he likes these people. He goes, and there's another assassination attempt. How did he get in there, and why did I? Multiple people. If it was one person, I'd be like, oh, here we go. But not when I hear it from multiple people coming across C-SPAN. One lady literally said, listen, I'm an average middle-class woman from Indiana that is a registered Republican but did not vote Republican in the last election. I have 3 kids, and I am as basic can be. Or, my bad, normal. Basic means that you are like, you're not the upgrade. You're like generic. You remember when generic was out there, when it was literally like a white label and a black stamp? We're generic waffles or whatever it was. Anyhow. She was basic, normal, generic. By the way, not normal, because normal then implies that being black or brown is not normal. So basic, generic. Generic kind of implies like, not quality. You get my point. She's a white woman from Indiana, middle class, 3 kids. Americana. Even though that's not really cool either. Anyway, you get my point. Let me not get distracted. My point is, she's a white woman from Indiana, 3 kids. Just doing her thing, raising her kids. And even she called in and was like, this don't smell right. When she, white woman, married, 3 kids, Indiana, when she's calling into C-SPAN just to say how uncomfortable she is with all this and how it doesn't smell right, between that and everybody's trying to kill Trump, everybody hates Chris and everybody's trying to kill Trump, pop culture reference. That was the middle reference. Anywho, when you have that civically, you're not in a good place as a country. And I don't want us to overlook that. Because we're already being divided by too many other things. That is something we need to keep in mind. Going to the news, going back to the phones, 866-391-1020. Lenny McAllister, you and I, doing the 4 o'clock hour on the other side on News Radio KDKA.
The secret is out. With millions of younger-looking customers across the country, Plexiderm is one of the most highly sought-after products on the market. It visibly shrinks under-eye bags and smooths out crow's feet in minutes, and the effects last up to 10 hours. Influencers love it, magazines feature it, and people just can't get enough of it. As a matter of fact, Elle Magazine gave it an Editor's Choice Award as Best Instant Wrinkle Filler for 2025. In as little as 10 minutes, Plexiderm reduces the appearance of fine lines, wrinkles, and those dreaded under-eye bags. So yes, you can look years younger in minutes, and the effects last for hours. No surgery, no gimmicks, just results. The best news, you can try Plexiderm for only $14.95. Plus, get free shipping. Call 1-800-598-6439. That's 1-800-598-6439. Or visit plexiderm.com/trial. Paid for by Sheer Science.
While you sleep, there are people you've never met who are working hard to make your morning. People who get up at ungodly hours to make sure you get the information you want. People who dedicate their lives to make yours better while you sleep. These people come together during the Big K Morning Show with Larry Richert, 5:30 to 10 in the morning, to make sure you have the best news, traffic, and weather to start your day. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA. Medicare Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
CBS News Brief. Was there a security failure last night at the White House Correspondents Association dinner that allowed an armed man to try to get past a checkpoint and fire shots? Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche told CNN.
It was a massive security success story. I mean, if you think about what happened as far as what we know right now, this suspect barely breached the perimeter.
Despite the shooting, a state visit by the King of England is still happening. British Ambassador to the U.S., Sir Christian Turner, was on Face the Nation.
Our team's been in touch way through the night and will be through the day to see whether the events of last night have any change in our operational planning, and I'm very confident that Their Majesties will have the very best security throughout the visit. 5 people were injured in a shooting near Indiana University in Bloomington. Police Chief Mike Dieckhoff.
All were treated and released except one who had been admitted and is in stable condition.
CBS News Brief. I'm Stacey Lynn.
Here's the latest from the KDKA Community Message Board.
Wait, Zero Res does commercial cleaning? They do. Same residue-free process, now for offices, apartments, large facilities, and more. Cleaner spaces that actually stay cleaner longer. Zero Res Commercial. Results matter, and so does how your body feels. Body by Design focuses on real outcomes. Target pain, reduce tension, and restore balance with massage therapy or their Oasis Wellness Experience, combining infrared heat, detox, and recovery. Book now at bodybydesignpgh.com. Happy home improvement season from Allegiant Community Federal Credit Union. Home equity loan rates are as low as 5.25%. For full terms and to see if you qualify, visit allegiantfcu.org. Membership eligibility required. Equal housing lender. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Details at kdkaradio.com.
Ms. Fernandez, what are those tiny things?
Those are what we call amoebas. You can only see them through a microscope.
Wow. Today's students are tomorrow's great thinkers and innovators. But right now, there's a funding crisis in public schools. Millions of kids go to schools that don't have funding for books, computers, and so much more just because of where they live. You can help change that. Donors Choose is a nonprofit that lets you support students and teachers in your community and beyond. You choose which supplies to support. You could provide first graders with pencils and paper, or other students with their first chapter books, help a music class get a guitar.
You could even supply a classroom like mine with a science project. But what you're really giving is the moment that sparks a brighter tomorrow.
To learn more, please visit DonorsChoose.org. That's DonorsChoose.org. Choose students. Shape the future.
The certified elder law attorneys at Julian Gray Associates understand the rules of long-term care and disability. They help families avoid mistakes and protect assets to maintain the best lifestyle options. You don't have to do this alone. Visit grayelderlaw.com.
You served behind the desk.
You served in combat.
You did 4 years and got out.
You were drafted.
You gave 20 years.
You gave exactly what your country needed.
And so did you.
When you raised your hand and swore an oath to your country, when you put your name on a dotted line, you became part of only 1% of Americans who did the same. You are a veteran.
You are a veteran.
You are a veteran. Because no matter when, where, or how you served, you made a sacrifice for your country, and you deserve support.
If you're struggling with life after service, don't wait. Reach out.
Reach out to a loved one, to a fellow veteran, to VA.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
Carpal tunnel syndrome. Heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines.
These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
Under a mainly clear sky tonight, we'll get down to 44 for an overnight low. A nice day tomorrow, a warm afternoon with some sunshine, high 75, and mostly cloudy on Tuesday. And there will be some showers and a thunderstorm during the morning and midday. For AccuWeather, I'm Brian Thompson, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
So now we got your senior U.S. Senator from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, John Fetterman, on CNN, responding to a lower third that says Trump shooting would have never happened in proposed ballroom. Hi. One, he brought it up yesterday, which is part of the reason why people feel like, not people, some people. Again, I don't want to broad brush this. This is why some people were like, staged. I'm like, easy. Easy. On the stage, so fast. Easy. Butler was staged too. Ugh. You do realize somebody died there, right? Well, collateral damage. Really? That's you just flippantly say it that fast? Anyhow. Yeah. The president's immediately like, well, this is it. The ballroom is setting us, of course, now. Fox News' favorite Democrat, which I'm not saying that's good or bad. I'm just saying that's a real fact now, is on there. And the lower third's still on the screen. Not that I would ever watch television during football season while doing this show. I'm just saying. That's it. One, and again, hat tip to Mo Kelly. Mo Kelly's an award-winning radio show host out of Los Angeles, somebody that I've known for 15 to 20 years. Believe it or not, actually, it's going on 20 years. I met him in 2009. It's not like we haven't had people on the White House grounds before. It's not like, planes have not crashed on the grounds, or we've had people just running onto the grounds. Random people in the White House. That happened recently, y'all. Not under Trump. I don't even think it happened under Biden. I think it was an Obama thing. But these things happen. They have happened. So you can make the case. You can try to justify it. You could say, of course, this wouldn't have happened if it was at the ballroom, but that's not true either. It's not true either. And it still doesn't justify doing something that no other president had ever done, which is just rip something down and then just say, sue me. But I have respect for the people's house. So, again, with the things that come up after what happened Saturday night include half the country wants to kill Trump. They want to see him dead. Or part of it goes to the other side of the equation, which is Trump faked this again. And he doesn't care what happens to people. He just doesn't want those files being released. And he doesn't want. This is a guy that said he can shoot somebody on Main Street and still have his supporters, even if he is in the files in the worst of ways. Do we think that everybody's going to back away from him? If they didn't back away after January 6, 2021, they ain't backing away. They will give you the, well, he didn't know how old they were. They said they were 19. That was his friend. And of course he trusted his friend. And she said she was 19. So, I mean, that's between him and his wife if he cheated, but it wasn't illegal. And now we know that stuff, so how would you know? And you can't judge them based off of today's standards for something that happened 20 years ago. That is literally where people would go. But there are some people that feel like, well, of course he faked it. And they were saying it 60 to 90 minutes after the incident happened. And then, of course, you got people that will literally sit there and say, well, this would have never happened if there was a ballroom. Well, and I'm certain, I don't know what the senator's saying. I don't care what the senator's saying. I just to be honest with you. The problem with being a modern day populist is the fact that you don't stand up for the flag. You are a flag, which means that you wave any way the wind blows. And you're thin-skinned, thin material. You don't have much substance, and you just flap. And the harder the wind blows, the louder you flap. And it's annoying. Yeah, that seems to be an apt description. 866-391-1020. Craig in West Virginia, you're on KDK.
How you doing, Lenny?
I'm doing well, child of God. How are you?
Actually, you know, it's just disgusting every day, day in, day out. It's really getting irritating. I'll just use the word irritating. It truly is. How much time do I got so I know which way I'm going to go down this road?
How much time do you have?
Yeah, is there a break on 45? It's 41.
My man, this is my associate producer, Craig in West Virginia. So how about this? There it is 43. So I'm gonna put you on hold so you can't pontificate. You can get on your platform. You can read from your gospel. You can preach your sermon on a Sunday afternoon. How about that? Does that work for you, Craig? If it does, let me hear you say amen.
Amen.
Let me say,
take you to break?
Yes, sir. I'm gonna put you on hold. Craig said amen. Listen, that's pretty good for a Catholic. We don't do that in church. We get excited, we grab a rosary and say a couple more Hail Marys, and then we calm down. And then, you know, we go sing a song from the 15th century, off key, with an organ playing in the background. That is also off key. Now, sometimes there are guitars there, and it spruces it up a little bit. Those songs are actually from the 20th century. That's usually the youth mass. I love being Catholic, but generally speaking, you're not Catholic for the music, y'all. You're Catholic for the prayers, for the rosary, for the tradition, for being the first church. Catholic, by the way, small c, does mean original. And on top of that, or its origins goes back to that, it talks about us being the rock of all of the sects of Christianity. Just reminding you all. Looking at you, Martin Luther. Anywho, 866-391-1020. I do advise being Catholic. I love Catholicism. Don't love everything Catholicism has stood up for, from not knowing what to do with the Nazis, to not doing the right thing with priests, to being very, very, agnostic when it comes to racism. But you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Kind of like America. 866-391-1020. Craig, come back and give your sermon, because if you don't do it, Deacon Craig, the bishop after you certainly will. after we come back on News Radio KDKA.
Every Tuesday morning at 7:20, listen for Inside Independence Health, a look at all things healthcare with the experts from Independence Health System. It's brought to you by Independence Health System. Expert care here.
Pittsburgh's very own board-certified and licensed hypnotherapist Dan Vitchoff of the PA Hypnosis Center is here to help you. He has helped train U.S. Olympic team members control their brains, stay relaxed, focused, and in control, giving them the edge for the gold. He's recognized by many organizations around the world as one of the top hypnotherapists anywhere. He has gotten over 3,000 people to give up cigarettes for good in the last 22 years. He's helped folks even who've tried gastric bypass to lose weight. He can help you and give you a 98% success guarantee. Call 724-934-8446. That's Dan Vitchoff, the PA Hypnosis Center. Mention KDKA and get $50 off any program. But call for a free consultation today, 724-934-8446. The PA Hypnosis Center with Dan Vitchoff. Make that call today, 724-934-8446.
At EasyCater, we believe every workday gets better with great food. The 9 a.m. staff meeting? How about breakfast burritos and lots of coffee? Big client presentation at noon? Let's do Mediterranean bowls. Accounting's gotta work late. Keep them pepped up with spicy noodles. With EasyCater, you get a huge variety of favorite restaurants with tools to help meet dietary needs and stay on budget, all on one platform. So make every workday better with EasyCater. Start an order at easycater.com.
Growing a brand is hard, but reaching the right customers shouldn't be. Meet Outcomes from Viant. We've built an intelligent platform that handles the complexity of digital advertising for you. Powered by advanced AI, we help your brand show up in the right places at the right time and ensure that every dollar you spend leads to a real business result. It's smarter advertising made simple. Visit Viant.ai.
Think back to the last time you were in nature. What comes to mind? Hiking through a lush forest, floating on a lazy river, or perhaps watching a vibrant sunset on a beach full of glistening plastic bottles and food wrappers. Unfortunately, this isn't a joke. Here in the U.S., we generate the most plastic waste in the world, with 70% of it ending up in landfills. And by the time you're done listening to this ad, more than a dump truck's worth of plastic will have made it into the ocean. Plastic has become a useful part of our everyday lives, but it's polluting the air, water, and soil that all life needs to survive. This is a human problem that can be solved with human action. But it's going to take all of us, from individuals to businesses to governments and everyone in between. Help create a cleaner future for both people and nature. Visit wwf.earth/plastics.
Get connected. That's the Inside Connection this Saturday morning at 9 with your local Medicare experts from MediConnect. If you're turning 65, hear all the inside information available to seniors on the Inside Connection, presented by MediConnect. Medicare made simple.
At a time when children are in crisis, the Kids Mental Health Foundation envisions a future where mental health is a vital part of growing up, and support starts with all of us. At home, at school, at practice, everywhere kids are.
If you're at school having a bad day, you just don't want to do anything.
I just get these thoughts like, do better. All my little emotions in my head is just running crazy. I don't know what to do.
As a teacher or coach, do you ever feel overwhelmed?
He's just in tears in the huddle. I was like, what's wrong? And he's just like, I'm just so frustrated. And I didn't know what to do.
None of my undergraduate studies talked about mental health.
Teachers need tons of help. The Kids Mental Health Foundation is the leading organization promoting mental health for children in the U.S. and has free tools and information developed by experts.
Having those resources is the same as the CPR class to me. We're trying to save a life here.
Check out kidsmentalhealthfoundation.org to get started.
SchultzFord.com, 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 SchultzFord.com.
All right, Craig, do you think?
All right, Lenny, listen to your conversation with Jake. That was just, you just dissected him, and it was very pleasurable.
So I would not call that a conversation then. I would call that a dissection. I would not call that a conversation. Go ahead.
Exactly. And, here's the thing. I used the word irritating, but the word I probably should have used when you asked now, it's exhausting. I'm exhausted from it is what the proper word should have been. And here's the thing. You was exactly correct about if Trump is in those Epstein files. And that is the difference that I see between the Democrat and the Republican Party is that, and that's why I don't paint the Republican Party with a wide brush, is there is that faction of 1 to 2 million people like Jake, like TJ, like Kathy from Imperial that would just twist themselves into a pretzel sticking up for this man. The whole violence thing in this, let me be careful how I say this. The whole thing of everybody saying that this is fake and it's staged, and this started when Donald Trump walked down that escalator. How we are seeing this country ran today is how he ran his casino. It's how he ran Trump University. It was chaos. The only way you can bankrupt a casino is chaos, and that's what we have. And I've been preaching that for 10 years on this radio station, that if this man comes into office, it's going to be chaos. You have Jake talking about the Democratic violence. This morning, my head about blew off. Kathy from Imperial was talking about driving through Wheeling, I believe yesterday, and there was a No Kings rally. And she said the look on their face of the anger and the verbiage on the signs was just unthinkable. Has she not watched a single minute of January 6th watching those police, like Capitol Police, get their brains beat in? Has she not seen any of that?
And it's not even just that. It's and I brought up the example when I was talking to Jake. You can't sit there and say, you know what, screw that guy. A guy like that, if he came into a place like that back when I was younger, we'd knock him out. He'd be going out of here on a stretcher. The next person that does that, if you knock him out, I'll pay your legal bills. And then literally the next rally, there was an older white guy that went after a black guy at a Trump rally, went and actually assaulted the guy. Now, of course, Trump didn't pay for his legal fees, but people forget that happened before he got the nomination. It was before August of 2016, I do believe, because I think the rally was in Illinois. They had another rally in Chicago that they had to shut down because there were so many incidences going on in the audience that they had to shut. They couldn't even do it. It was either in Indiana, like Gary, or in Chicago. People act like, A, it's ancient history and you shouldn't look it up, or B, that you can't go fact check this stuff. So now, does it mean that somebody should be walking around with a pistol shooting at the president of the United States? No. But if you sit there and say, I don't understand where this political violence came from. I don't understand how it spiked up all of a sudden. It's just because people have TDS. No. Literally, the guy as a candidate was saying over-the-top things. And again, I called out people like Megyn Kelly. How can you try to be a Fox News person, to try to lean that way, but not really, because people weren't really leaning towards Trump, have her attack her womanhood, then be against him and aghast by him, but then have him be the great American hero, not the one that was flying into buildings in the early 80s, but, whatever. And then from there, wonder why he's running you over with the bus a second and a third time. Candace Owens, you literally grifted your way into MAGA, and in the moment you disagree with something, you wonder why the bus is running you over. Tucker Carlson, you built up a publication off of this type of stuff before Trump came in by riding the wave of birtherism on that Daily Caller surfboard, which, full disclosure, I used to write for until that surfboard started riding that wave. And now you're shocked and saying, I'm embarrassed to say that I have actually advocated for anybody to vote for Trump. To your point, Craig, why? What has been inconsistent about this individual? He literally had what the preacher called the millimeter miracle from Butler, and then literally was being nasty to people within a week.
The part that baffles me is that the people that call the show that are spewing the Cathys and the Ken from Lower Borough, that's another one. Pratt's morning calls on the weekends are mainly Republicans. I don't know why that is. On the evening, there's a pretty nice balance of Democrats and Republicans. But just 2 weeks ago, he calls in and says he was on his way to work, saw 10 roofs being put on, and they were all by Hispanics. We got to do something about these illegal aliens. Now, did he get out and check their green cards, their visas?
That's the point. And so when you call, to your point, Craig, when you tell somebody that you do realize that just that stereotype alone is racial in nature. I don't have a racist bone in my body, and Donald Trump would never be racist. Okay, why did he immediately go after DEI? Why did he say the civil rights movement after 100 years of Jim Crow hurt white people? Even completely ignoring 100 years of Jim Crow where people got lynched and people were taking postcard pictures and sending them to relatives through the mail about these things. You forget about that, but trying to right-size the injustice and trying to make sure that America is stronger, by the way, during the Cold War. That's the other thing that people forget about, Craig, is the fact that you say you'd rather be dead than red. Well, the way to make sure that you're not dead or red is make sure that you're at full strength in America, which means you can't keep women on the sidelines and you can't keep minorities on the sidelines because, quote unquote, that's the way we've always done things. But again, when you're talking about let's make America great again and you're taking people back to that era, these are the things that you're also talking about, which is why when I talk about being a constitutional conservative, I'm not talking about conserving the American way of life of 1956. I know what that used to look like for a lot of people. That was 10 years after internment camps. That's when Asians were still catching hell out west. That's when black people were catching hell in the South and pretty much everywhere. That's when women were told to be seen and not heard. And make sure my dinner's done by the time I get home from work. Don't ask me about the lipstick on my collar before I give you a spanking in front of the kids. These things were real in the 1950s when it comes to certain lifestyles in America. Don't want to go to that. I like equality for everybody. So, and Craig, I'll put you on hold. I'm going to go to the news and come back. My point is, it's as if people can't look at these things. You can be a constitutional conservative and understand how the Constitution applies to everybody. I will say this, then I go to break. I come back to Craig, then I go to Bishop. I go to others at 866-391-1020. Met a young lady at Spirit of America last night. Naturalized American, her and her family. She was born in the United States. Her family is naturalized. They're Iranian Americans. She thanked me for talking about being a Republican that doesn't get behind everything that the Republican Party does, because that's who she and her family are. Yeah, Craig, you're right. They do exist. You're talking to one here on News Radio KDKA.
The Village at St. Barnabas, the perfect place for moms.
Soldiers and Sailors Memorial Hall and Museum recognizes Pennsylvania's combat veterans who have received medals for gallantry. With this Hall of Valor moment, here's the curator of Soldiers and Sailors Memorial Hall and Museum, Michael Krause.
Sergeant Hugh Abercrombie of Allegheny County was awarded the Distinguished Service Cross in World War I in France on July 15, 1918. During the night, Sergeant Abercrombie, in charge of the ammunition detail, realized that all the supply of the guns had been used up in a barrage that prevented the enemy from crossing the Marne River. He immediately organized his detail and carried the supply by hand to his battery about a kilometer away. While so engaged, he was severely wounded, but refused to be evacuated, directing carriers to the various kinds of ammunition whose location he alone knew. His utter disregard for his condition was an inspiration to his comrades.
To nominate a qualifying hero for the Hall of Valor, visit online at soldiersandsailorshall.org.
100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA, covered by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 platinum roofing company.
I've heard everything you tell yourself every time you felt different. And I want you to know, taking care of your mind is taking care of everyone you love. Love your mind. Find mental health resources at loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
KDKA and KDKA-FM HD2 Pittsburgh. W261AX Pittsburgh.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Aetna Medicare studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Stacey Lynn. The suspected gunman who charged a security checkpoint outside the White House Correspondents' Dinner last night was targeting Trump administration officials. That's according to what investigators say is a manifesto he wrote. CBS's Katrina Kaufman reports 31-year-old Cole Allen will be arraigned tomorrow.
Jeanine Pirro, the U.S. Attorney for D.C., has talked about a couple of the offenses that he will face so far, but we are still waiting for the complaint to be unsealed. It's possible we could also see a charge of attempted murder of a president, attempted murder of a vice president, of federal officials. This man could absolutely face life in prison.
A lot of reaction from all around the world.
I'm Vicky Barker at the Foreign Desk in London. World leaders have been quick to express their shock and relief at last night's shooting. French President Macron noting violence has no place in a democracy. I extend my full support to Donald Trump. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer condemning the attack on the president and on the democratic institutions that a free press represents.
Despite the shooting, King Charles and Queen Camilla will still arrive in Washington tomorrow for a state visit. British ambassador to the U.S., Sir Christian Turner, told Face the Nation the war in Iran will be a big topic.
We share the same intent, the same policy as the U.S. We want to constrain this regime and its threat. We want the straits open again.
U.S. envoys Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner had been expected to head to Islamabad this weekend for peace talks, but President Trump canceled that trip. Israel and Lebanon are trading accusations about violating a ceasefire. Reporter Linda Gradstein is in Jerusalem.
The Israeli army says a soldier was killed and 6 wounded in a Hezbollah drone attack in southern Lebanon on Sunday. Hezbollah rejected Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's accusation that Hezbollah is jeopardizing the ceasefire and said it is responding to Israeli violations of the truce.
And history was just made at the London Marathon. Sebastian Saw of Kenya won with a record time of 1 hour, 59 minutes, and 30 seconds. While other marathons have been run in under 2 hours before, this is different.
Kenya actually did break the 2-hour marathon in 2016. Eliud Kipchoge did it in Vienna, but that wasn't an official race. It was sponsored by a footwear company. You had official pacers. There was no one else on the course. So everything was made perfect. But on an official race like here in London, you don't know what the weather's going to do. You don't know how the pace is going to go, how much your competitors are going to push you.
That's the BBC's Matt Graveling. This is CBS News.
Join Adriana Diaz and Kelly O'Grady for the perfect start to your weekend. Ease into your Saturday with CBS Saturday Morning on CBS and streaming on Paramount+.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-507-9701. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-507-9701. That's 800-507-9701. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Maine's governor vetoed a bill that would have made the state the first to ban construction of new data centers. Here's CBS's Chanel Call.
Across the country, new data centers are driving up utility bills in at least 13 states. This analysis found Americans who live near data centers are paying as much as 267% more for energy than 5 years ago. And in the next 5 years, the amount of energy consumed by commercial buildings like data centers in Georgia will more than double.
There's a new king at the box office. The Michael Jackson biopic brought in $97 million in the U.S. and $217 million worldwide this weekend. That is the biggest debut for a music biopic ever. The film traces the King of Pop's rise to superstardom, and despite some mixed reviews, fans showed up in droves, easily pushing the film to #1. Stacey Lynn, CBS News.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred roofing replacement contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
Mainly clear for tonight, a low of 44. We'll have a mix of sun and clouds for tomorrow with a pleasant, warm afternoon. High tomorrow 75. Increase the clouds tomorrow night with a shower in spots late, low 52. For AccuWeather, I'm meteorologist Brian Thompson, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
All right, of course, I will be back here tomorrow morning on the Big K Morning Show with Larry Richard, 8 to 9. I'm certain this will come up. Have to imagine. Craig, final word, then I got to let you go.
Appreciate it, Lenny. Yeah, real quick story. I'm a self-accountability person. I've always believed in that. Number one, I condemn political violence 100%, no matter what side of the party it is. During COVID, I had a shirt printed up that said, "Biden for president, he won't inject you with bleach." And I wore that shirt to Cabela's. I wore that shirt to Cabela's knowing that probably 99% of the people in Cabela's was Republican. So I knew wearing that shirt that I'm probably going to have to fight my way out of Cabela's. I knew that. Do I think it's right that I was going to have to do that? No. But I knew what I was doing, and I knew it could put me in a bind. When I talk about self-accountability, I'm talking about Charlie Kirk, Donald Trump, and anybody else who spews political violence. Don't turn around and then condemn the political violence that you have just spewed. I knew what I was doing when I wore that shirt to Cabela's. I was probably going to fight somebody. It didn't happen, but I held myself accountable knowing that's what I was doing. That's what I'm talking about with self-accountability.
Craig, I appreciate your phone call. Interesting story. Yeah, you go to Cabela's in West Virginia, you're probably going to get somebody that's going to get on your case about that with the injecting bleach and, the Lysol and everything else. Not to go down a rabbit hole, but I understand your point. And it kind of comes back to what I was saying, where these things happened 10 years ago. People said these things 10 years ago. I saw the turn. I saw where it pivoted. Again, I was part of the early movement of the Tea Party. I was doing Tea Party rallies in 2009, early 2009. When my now 16-year-old was only 2 months in utero, about 2 months in utero with my wife. That's early Tea Party. And the rhetoric that was going on then was about the national debt. They were mad at Bush and Obama. They were mad at Republicans and Democrats, which is why you got Rand Paul, Marco Rubio, Tim Scott, Alan West. It's why you got Nikki Haley for governor. There was a big sweep of individuals that came into office as a result. Joe Walsh in Illinois. Bunch of upsets. Tom Corbett became governor that year in the Commonwealth. It wasn't about what we hear about now. It was not about culture. I was there and saw the shift, which is why I criticized the shift 15 years ago. Which is why some people come in here and claim they have receipts, and I, do the little punch hole thing like the conductor on, the Polar Express. Dip, 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 dip. Looks like what you have there is null and void. And you look like null, and this ticket is void. Goodbye. That's why when you come in here with false arguments, that's what I do. Dip, 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 dip. That's a little radio sound effect. But when you're on the Sunday show, they don't give you that for real, so you have to make it with your mouth. 866-391-1020. Bishop and Denora, you're on KDKA.
Here we go, Brother Larry. Listen, I'm glad that the draft is over. I'm glad that people were safe and good for the city and the amount of people that came. But I am sorry, and I hope that the morning show talk about it. I'm sure Marty will probably talk about it, about the businesses that didn't get the business, and they got slammed, and it was a lot. But people got smart because they said, hey, the price gouging. And that's what did it, and that's what I think people said, well, we're not spending no money. But I'm glad it was successful. Number two is, let me just say this. I'm one of the ones who I believe in some ways it was staged. And here's my point. And then I said that all the training that I've had, and I have a degree in law enforcement, the whole 9 yards, and was trained are some of the best on both sides, Republican and Democrat. Matter of fact, a lot of them were ex-CIAs, FBIs, and Secret Service that trained me, and in my coursework. Now, that being said, Brother Lenny, like Butler, that wasn't no dumb kid. However, the law enforcement agencies, federal in particular, how in the world can somebody be elevated shooting down at the president and you don't have helicopters and you don't see it and you didn't do a clean sweep? That's egregious. Now, going to last night, I texted April Ryan because she happened to be on something, and I said, what are you complaining about? She was complaining about going. And I know of her, and I texted back and said, you shouldn't be going. You should be boycotting it because you guys want us to boycott businesses when injustices take place. You journalists should do the same thing. That's what I texted. She knows it. And then she talked about this morning, after she went, Don Lemon didn't go, that something suspicious is something wrong with this thing. When you look at the footage and when you look at what happened, there's no way that in that hotel that the Secret Service, FBI, and the CIA should not have had that blanketed whenever the president, whomever he may be, or she, eventually, that place should have been blanketed. That guy should have never got nowhere near it, even though he was away from the actual, getting inside. But come on. And I think they were out of position. From what April Ryan is saying, there were people using their, wasn't even using their, keys, key codes or whatever, and they were getting almost totally access. Now, who does that, Brother Lenny? That's what I'm saying. And then I'll say this to you. The speech that he gave afterwards. Why did you have to bring, now, they taught me this now, Brother Lenny. Why did you have to bring up, well, if we had this, and that's why we're building this beautiful ballroom, it's safe and secure, the whole 9 yards, Why did you go there for? Why did you make that statement right there? That, to me, triggers something, that something is not right. Again,
but you do realize you could say that about anything that Donald Trump says. Why did he say that right there? I don't know. We just saw articles last week about how his own administration was frustrated with him because they would think that they're getting a certain point with the Iranian negotiations, and then he would put something on Truth Social, and they would roll their eyes and be like, "Dude, stop." So that question always gets asked. Now, to your point, it's the same exact thing that other people have said. There has been a level of skepticism that I heard since literally 60 minutes after the incident last night on my way back from the eastern part of the state. So this is what you're saying is what I've already heard. Unfortunately, and I think it's not good because there's such a deep distrust of government, and particularly this administration, but government overall, that people, and Joanne said it and Cynthia said it, at the beginning of the show, people, particularly Joanne, people expect to be lied to by people in positions of power. They expect people to just sell their partisan viewpoint and go from there. And as a result, they're not inclined to just say this transpired, that transpired. When you have people on the right that are now saying that Butler was staged, and we're in a region where they're having fundraisers for the guy that died still. I mean, if you think it's staged and you think that the gentleman from Buffalo Township died, and it's a real death, then what you're implying about what they were willing to do in order to quote-unquote stage it is horrific. It's insidious. And people are both inclined to say it but not throw it out there and own it for much longer than, a 15-second social media take.
Well, listen, Brother Lenny, there is a lot of mistrust, but I would say this. I agree with what Charles Blow was saying this morning. Something suspicious. 3, how egregious to law enforcement that protects the president is that egregious. And I'm going to tell you something else. don't be surprised that the officer who got shot might have came from friendly fire when you really look at where the shooting was coming from. And by the way, that guy really should have been killed. Wild weaponry, all right, if shots were fired. Wild weaponry, all right. Now, I noticed that they made the point that, well, he's black, and now he's saying, hey, I don't know, but that's what they're saying. Now, I will say this now, and I'll close on this. Brother Lenny, I think I'm an independent Democrat. I vote for some.
You ain't an independent Democrat. You're a Democrat. You don't get to say that. You could say you're a Democrat. You could say you're a Democrat that splits your ticket, but you're not an independent Democrat. It's like me saying I'm a black white dude. No, in 1954, my black behind would have been on the back of the bus in Alabama. I'm black, so no, don't come in here with this independent Democrat stuff. You're a Democrat. That's okay.
Well, yeah, I am, because let me tell you something, Brother Lenny. Because years ago, many years ago now, the Republican Party said, well, when I did want to go to the Republican, they said, no, we ain't taking you. But because I have some conservative fiscal views, etc.
You're still a Democrat. You're still and it doesn't mean you're on the far left. All I'm saying is it is amazing, and I'm calling you out, and I'm calling other people out for just a second. It's amazing that when I say I'm a Republican and I stand on my own principles and my own policy positions and my own principles and my own rhetoric, the first thing people say is, well, you haven't done enough, you're a Republican. If I said I was an independent Republican with 20 years of background that shows that I am my own man as a Republican, the first thing that most people would say is, you're still a Republican, you still must believe in Donald Trump, blah, 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 blah. So if that's the case, you can't come on here and say I'm an independent Democrat. You're a Democrat, but you may not vote straight party 100% of the time. And that's okay. But you're not. You can't get that label. I'm not giving you that label. I have put it into the shredder. You can't use it any longer. Go ahead.
Well, I'm assuming you saying that because, Brother Lenny, it ain't like you're a Republican, and we don't call you MAGA. Do we call you MAGA? We don't call you MAGA.
But because I ain't MAGA. But on top of that, I also don't call myself an independent Republican. I say I'm a Republican. And then when somebody says, well, what about those people? I'm like, well, they're fake. They're frauds. I know they're frauds. Go look at their policy positions. Go look at how much they flip-flop, and go look at them, clamoring around a personality, not around the Constitution. They're the frauds, not me. Now, are you saying the same thing about the Democrats? Probably not, but that's okay, too. I'm just saying I know where I sit. But I didn't mean to knock you off. I'm just saying you can't use that label anymore. Go ahead.
Well, however you want to put it, but there's people that vote. I voted for Senator Barlotta and Vaughn down in Washington County. Now I might have to change my position this time. And from what I'm hearing with Senator Barlotta, if he's all in with Trump, I can't go for that nonsense. But anyway, just look for some more information coming out. I think the guy was shot by friendly fire. And I do think some things are being very suspicious in these incidents with Donald Trump. And because a lot of his stuff is tanking, from the war to the economy, etc. And he got everybody now talking about, I was trying to be assassinated. I don't think the guy was trying to assassinate him, though.
Well,
all right.
Appreciate you. Thank you very much, Shout to God, for your phone call and everybody's phone call. Look, I don't think Donald Trump does not elicit a whole bunch of sympathy. So even with this incident last night, it's not like people that were in the middle all of a sudden started leaning towards Trump. That did happen in 2024. It ain't happening now. One, because they saw after Butler, and he went right back to the same rhetoric, they realized this dude is just who this dude is. So, yeah, I don't want him to get killed. I'm not looking for somebody to do something horrible to him, but all he's going to do is badmouth people once he gets out of the situation. They're not falling for what did Eddie Murphy used to say? They're not falling for the banana in the tailpipe once again. So it is what it is. 866-391-1020. Quick break. Then I'm going to Anthony, Dan, and Brian. This is a big three. But I'll get to you after this small break here on News Radio KDKA.
Your source for everything that's news. Hear it on News Radio KDKA.
More amazing specials for the month of April at Coons Market. Isn't that right, Frank Dentisi? Right, Rob. In our meat department, choice flat iron steaks are $8.99 a pound. In the produce department, large Dole mangoes are 4 for $5. In the deli, Kuhn's 8-piece fried chicken is $6.99 each. An additional savings this week, selected varieties of wishbone salad dressing, 15-ounce bottles, 2 for $5.
It's all happening now at Kuhn's Market. Kuhn's Market, a Pittsburgh tradition.
Hi, Paul Alexander here to let you know the KDKA has planned a fabulous 5-day Arizona getaway this September, and it's filling up fast. My wife, Shelley, and I want you to join us for an unforgettable trip based in beautiful Flagstaff, a relaxed mountain town that makes the perfect home base. From there, we'll explore the incredible red rocks of Sedona, travel by rail to the breathtaking Grand Canyon, a bucket list spot that everyone needs to see at least once. And then we'll take in the stunning scenery around Lake Powell with its deep blue water and wide open views. It's the perfect mix of sightseeing, natural beauty, and plenty of time to just enjoy where we are. And September is truly the sweet spot. Comfortable weather, no summer crowds, and everything planned for you. No guessing, no stress. Just show up and enjoy Arizona. Space is limited. Seats are disappearing quickly. Visit travelwithkdk.com or call 800-383-3131. Again, travel with KDK.com or call 800-383-3131. Can't wait to see you there.
The KDKA radio text line is driven by Kenny Ross Auto Group. Find your best deal and Pittsburgh's best warranty at kennyross.com.
Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
Hear about it, then talk about it. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
All right, going back to the phone lines, 866-391-1020. Anthony in Oakland, you're on KDK.
The only thing I'm going to say in reference to what happened last night at the press thing for Donald J. Trump, I don't understand why this guy who went to school the equivalent of Massachusetts, MIT, and California would be so crazy to just go out and try to kill a president. But this dude had a lot to live for.
Yes, he did.
He made video games. I mean, he was not a stupid man. He did a stupid thing yesterday, but maybe it's mental illness. That's all I'm going to say about that. Here's what I want to talk about. I am sick and tired of these social warriors who there was this one who was on the internet. Of course, he had to film himself trying to dress down the police for telling these young people who had no supervision they had to leave Market Square. He wants to intervene and tell the police, of course, it's racially motivated and all kind of nonsense. But he wasn't there the night before at 2 in the morning where 2 15-year-olds were having a sword fight with knives. He wasn't there then, Mr. Social Warrior type. You've got kids who are out of control, sir. And I'm sick and tired. This is what has infiltrated our mindset with adults today who are looking at the police who are trying to control this criminal element. They're talking about how people are being mistreated.
No, can I say something, Anthony? Because you point out something that people forget. There was a time, and there are still people that do it, that if they saw kids doing the wrong things, they would give a look, they'd walk in that direction, or they would say something. And they would get the kids to either move along or they would stop it. Now, with some kids, you need to just give a look. With some kids, you need to chime up. With some kids, you kill them with kindness. You walk up and I've done it. 2 kids you know that are up to no good. What's going on, child of God? How you doing today? And they're shocked that I called them a child of God. But guess what? I confronted the situation long before a police officer had to. So to your point, if you're going to be an adult that says you want a safer community and you're not inclined to proactively diffuse some things, you don't then get a chance to pull out your phone and feel like I'm going to go viral with 25,000 views because this police officer told these kids to not be out here. And so I get you, and I've seen it before. So I don't know this specific incident, Anthony, but I agree with you. If you're going to be adult enough to pull out the camera and record it, you're also in position to diffuse the situation before somebody in blue has to do it.
Well, really, before somebody in blue had to do it, how about their own parents?
Well,
they told people all weekend. They told people even a week before the draft started, supervise your children, know where your children are, keep them home. But, of course, you've got these derelict parents who don't care anymore and just they want to compete with the children with their bonnets and slippers and pajamas at Giant Eagle and all. I mean, this is just you know what angers me is because I grew up in a generation where we had self-control, where we were told if you're going downtown, be home at 9 o'clock. As a matter of fact, if I were mayor, I'm instituting a curfew. On the weekends, 11 o'clock. On weekdays, 9 o'clock, unless you have a permit to work.
So
you shouldn't be roaming around town that time of night anyway.
I'm kind of being facetious, but I'm kind of not. What year did you graduate from high school?
Excuse me?
What year did you graduate from high school?
I got out of high school in 1973. You were 2 years old. So we're talking about a different world that I grew up in the world you grew up in.
Hold on. One, some of y'all, not you, but some of y'all were smoking things that you didn't even know what you were smoking back then. Some of y'all were wilding out on college campuses as well. So I'm not going to let you sterilize all of it. I understand your point. There was a much different level of decorum with youth overall, even back then than there is now. But, I mean, Woodstock was back then, and a whole bunch of free love was back then, and a whole bunch of other stuff was going on back then that I can't let you just poo-poo past.
Well, here was my point. Sir, we were talking about civil rights and ending wars in Vietnam and a whole different ball. We didn't go downtown to Market Square unsupervised and cause havoc, or to the south side, every weekend. And unlike you, I didn't get this from a book. I lived it. I know what we did. Yes. Did we have riots in '68 who destroyed certain communities? Of course we did. Unfortunately, those people were stupid too. But what I am telling you, when I was 15 years old, my parents said, you be in the house at 9 o'clock, you're in the house at 9 o'clock. And then you stayed out front until the street lights went on. But they knew where you were. And we didn't have cell phones. And we didn't have lurking parents, but we had a stern parent who told us what to do. Plus, we had people who were watching, and the police would intervene in a minute. Then you had juvenile court, Morganza, and Thornhill for those who didn't want to conform, and you put people in jail for loitering and vagrancy. So it's a whole different world than what you're trying to say I'm saying.
No, I'm not, Anthony. I appreciate your call. I'm not saying that, and I'm about to go so I can go to the news break. What I am saying is, I was actually not going to hang up on you, but you hung up. What I am saying is, I'm not going to let you make it seem as though there wasn't some of this element out there already. There were gangs running Chicago by that point in time. There were gangs running Los Angeles by that point in time. There had been gangs running New York by that point in time. Irish gangs, Italian gangs, Chinese gangs, African-American gangs, and Latino gangs in the cities I just named. Heck, one of the biggest spots was Youngstown, Ohio, for the mafia and others. So I'm just saying it wasn't perfect where everybody was following what their parents said. But yes, you're correct. It wasn't quite like this. Not even close to being like this. It wasn't close to being like this when in the 80s when I grew up. I tell my kids, and, when I was your age. But to your point, yeah. There wasn't quite what you're saying now. There's a breakdown. But again, that breakdown comes from not just the kids. The kids are kind of following their parents. And they're following the adults. And, no offense to anybody, but I mean, Donald Trump got elected twice in America. Just saying. 866-391-1020 news, then phone calls, then the end of the show on News Radio KDKA.
The secret is out. With millions of younger-looking customers across the country, Plexiderm is one of the most highly sought-after products on the market. It visibly shrinks under eye bags and smooths out crow's feet in minutes, and the effects last up to 10 hours. Influencers love it. Magazines feature it, and people just can't get enough of it. As a matter of fact, Elle Magazine gave it an Editor's Choice Award as Best Instant Wrinkle Filler for 2025. In as little as 10 minutes, Plexiderm reduces the appearance of fine lines, wrinkles, and those dreaded under-eye bags. So yes, you can look years younger in minutes, and the effects last for hours. No surgery, no gimmicks, just results. The best news, you can try Plexiderm for only $14.95, plus get free shipping. Call 1-800-598-6439. That's 1-800-598-6439. Or visit plexiderm.com/trial. Paid for by Sheer Science.
Join Beth Andrews for the Net Worth Financial Hour Saturdays at 1 to get the news and information you need to make your retirement dream a reality. That's the Net Worth Financial Hour with Beth Andrews, Saturdays at 1. Net Worth Advisors, LLC is a registered investment advisor.
From the Aetna Medicare Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
CBS News Brief. Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche says there was not a security failure at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. He told CNN.
It was a massive security success story. I mean, if you think about what happened, as far as what we know right now, this suspect barely breached the perimeter.
Reaction from England ahead of an official state visit from the Royals. British Ambassador to the U.S., Sir Christian Turner, told Face the Nation.
The Prime Minister spoke to the President this morning after the incident. The King sent a personal message to the President and First Lady. So actually in diplomacy, it's as much personal as it is political.
A runner from Kenya finished the London Marathon in under 2 hours. BBC Sports editor Dan Roan.
Up until relatively recently, the idea of running a marathon in under 2 hours was considered to be beyond the limit of human endurance. But athletics' iconic sporting barrier has finally been broken.
CBS News Brief. I'm Stacey Lynn.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved.
Who let the dogs out? Spruce, spruce, spruce.
It's Spruce, the weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people, pets, and bees. When used as directed, spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour, and dead weeds in just 1 day. You spray, they play. Spruce, pet friendly, weed deadly. Find wherever weed killers are sold.
Breaking news for your home. Way Day is here. It's Wayfair's big sale, where you can score the best deals in home, like up to 80% off with free shipping on everything. Plus surprise flash deals all Way Day long. You won't find better deals for your home anywhere else. We're talking furniture, decor, rugs, and more, all at Wayfair, and all up to 80% off during Way Day. So don't wait. Shop Wayfair's Way Day now through April 27th to score the best deals in home.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. We're proud to offer high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids starting at just $98. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and hear the difference today by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
In a world in need of a hero, one man rises to the challenge in style. He is...
just driving the kids to soccer practice.
Make every day feel epic in the all-new Hyundai Palisade Hybrid with up to an EPA-estimated 619 miles of range on select trims, advanced tech, and class-leading interior space. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details.
And hey, come on, no cleats on the seats.
Hearing the news every day is one thing. Hearing it hit home is something altogether different. That's the difference you hear every day on KDKA Radio. We go beyond the benign headlines and bring the news to life. your life. So stay here and hear the news and what a difference it makes. 100.1 FM and AM 1020, KDKA.
The best words to hear at the TSA security checkpoint? You're good to go. All it takes is a little preparation. Get to the airport early, bring a carry-on bag that fits in the overhead, and have an acceptable ID. Not all state-issued IDs will cut it. Check out tsa.gov/ID and see which TSA acceptable IDs make the grade, like a real ID or passport.
Before you jet, do a little prep, and you're good to go. Check out tsa.gov/ID or the MyTSA app.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. If you or someone you care about is facing a family law issue, let us set up a 1-hour Cordell Consult. The Cordell Consult is a meeting with a local attorney who will give you clear guidance about your options, whether it's a separation, a postnuptial agreement, divorce, or custody. CordellCordell.com.
Pittsburgh and Cranberry Township, Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois only.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
Under a mainly clear sky tonight, we'll get down to 44 for an overnight low. A nice day tomorrow, a warm afternoon with some sunshine, high 75, and mostly cloudy on Tuesday. And there will be some showers and a thunderstorm during the morning and midday. For AccuWeather, I'm Brian Thompson, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
All right, 866-391-1020. Let me go back to the phone lines. Dan in Mount Pleasant, you're on KDKA.
Doing tonight.
Hello. Dan? Dan? Dan?
Are you there, Lenny?
Yes, I am, child of God. How are you?
I'm sorry, my earpiece cut out. Can you hear me okay now?
Yes, sir, I can.
All right. Well, a couple things, Lenny. First of all, I'm really disappointed in myself. When Craig was rattling off that list of people got on his nerves, I wasn't on there. I guess I'm going to have to try harder, huh?
Listen, man, it's kind of like college basketball mid-season, man. You can be in the top 10, but all it takes is not win as impressively, and you go down to like number 12. But guess what? There's still always an opportunity to make it for March Madness. It only matters who wins the championship, Dan. Just keep that in mind.
Well, let's see how I do tonight. And, you know, Lenny, I don't mean any disrespect, but I just want to point out.
You do realize every time somebody says, I mean no disrespect, but here it comes. Go ahead.
But here it comes, buddy. Do you realize in the conversation you had with him, the good, bad examples that you gave, examples of badness, internment camps and Jim Crow, you realize those were a product of the Democrat Party. So we use benchmark bad examples. You're not alone. We use benchmark bad examples of things the Democrat Party actually did. You do realize that, right?
Let me. I'm going to blow you up right now, just because I love you.
Yeah.
So I literally saw that meme on Facebook, right? And they were talking about. You realize that slavery, Democrats, the Klan, Democrats, Jim Crow, Democrats. You named internment camps, Democrats. And you said, what was the other one you just said? You said one other one just now.
I said Jim Crow.
Jim Crow and Democrats. So it listed like six.
Throw redlining in there. Throw redlining.
Democrats. You know what I did, though? And this is why it's unfair to just take one group and do that, because you can do this with everybody. Yeah. So you know I replaced Democrats with like a 2-word phrase, right?
What was it?
It was white people. I replaced Democrats on the whole meme with white people, and I was like, oh, this still fits. Now, the problem with that is that all white people didn't stand for those policies. But if I do that, there's going to be somebody, particularly black folks that are listening to the show, that are probably laughing, saying, and they chuckled in a very uneasy way because of the substitution I did. The problem with that is, though, just like with Democrats, you're taking a modern understanding of that term and applying it that way without the whole contextualization that's there. Now, with that said, factually, yes, it was a Democrat in charge that put about the redlining policy or the internment during World War II, which is a huge contextualization that you have to remember. Jim Crow obviously was Democrats based on how things broke down with Lincoln. So I get what you're saying, but again, you can see how when you replace one word with two words and you do that and it still kind of fits, it's like, okay, well, maybe that Democrat or the white people phrase in that doesn't fit quite the same. Fair?
Okay. May I move on to the next example?
You may.
Okay. I've heard you several times tonight talk about Donald Trump's sarcastic, Lenny, statement if he shot somebody on Fifth Avenue. Here's the question I would ask people that love to repeat that. If Donald Trump shot somebody on Fifth Avenue and it was a pregnant woman, how many counts of murder do you think the leftists would bring against him? One or two? Is that 2 human lives or one? Ooh, that hit low below the belt, huh?
I know how you and I would answer that question, but to your point, you specifically said leftist, and the whole it's a fetus, not a baby. Yeah,
that's right.
And you got me wearing my Seton LaSalle pro-life sweatshirt because I was doing flag football with the kids today. So you hit me with that argument at a time where I'm dressed appropriately for that argument. For that, my good man, you may have made the top 10 list for Craig once again.
We're on the same side. And how about this one, Lenny? What if Donald Trump killed somebody, not with a gun on Fifth Avenue, but with his car at the bottom of the lake? Would they give him a title of nobility like Ted Kennedy, the Lion of the Senate?
But they wouldn't let him run for president though. So I mean, there's that.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but one last thing.
Go ahead.
I will humor you for one last one. Go ahead.
Okay, I want to move over, and I want to congratulate Luciano for bringing it up, the Southern Poverty Law Center. And I'm with you, Lenny. I'm with you. Due process. Let's let the courts sort it out. I've seen the list of charges that were brought against him. Remember the whole Charlottesville good and bad on both sides of the issue? Remember that? The Southern Poverty Law Center is being charged with helping to fund that process that went on down there. So one of the charges being against them is they are busing those people in.
So did
you see that?
So I haven't read that all the way through now, and like I said, Dan, I have a hard time believing it. But the longer I live and the more I do politics and the more I see these things, the more I go, oh, yeah, those things are possible. So if somebody says that's impossible that they would do that, no, it's not impossible that they would do it.
According to those charges, Lenny, they're supposed to be fighting racism and white supremacy.
I know.
And they're putting these people on their website. And on the backside, they were setting up all these shell companies, funneling the money through, laundering it, and actually financially supporting it. Those are the charges.
And that's why I'm saying I want to see how this all plays out, because there are people that would say that.
I'm with you.
There are some people that would say that would never happen. And it's like, yeah, it would. Look at the history of the world. You will find people doing very corrupt things that seem to completely contravene each other, and yet they're doing it because they have some type of mastermind justification for it. So I'm not going to sit there and say that's impossible, because all it takes is, you well know, Dan, and I'm going to let you go because I got other phone calls. You well know it doesn't take a whole organization to be corrupt. It just takes a couple of people in key spots to redirect money, redirect mission, and voila. So I am curious to see how it plays out. I do think it sounds odd, but I've seen a lot of odd in my life. So I hear you. I feel you. Back to the phones. Brian in Munhall, you're on KDKA.
Hi, Lenny. Hey,
Hello.
Are you going to break pretty soon?
No. Because I'm going to let this go as long as possible, if I can.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hey, Lenny, I don't do this too often. I'm going to try to take, if you don't mind, I've listened to KDKA for a long time, and I've learned from all of your callers. This is the greatest forum in our city of Pittsburgh, where you can share issues and things. Hey, what I'm going to say is going to sound a little provocative, but that'll be one of the last statements. Can I begin with this? Now I might be sounding judgmental, but I would say 50% of your callers over the years still believe that the United States is a racist, discriminatory, oppressive country. And it's kind of really getting old, jaded, and worn out. Because I'll tell you why. Look at the two sports that African Americans dominate in.
You're gonna make an argument about equality and start going to sports.
No, I'm going to say I'm trying to say you won't let me finish. It's because of merit. It's your superior athletes in basketball and football. You earned it. But
we are superior athletes.
Yes.
Why are we
in
superior?
Those two sports.
Why are we superior athletes? You know, one of the best basketball players in the world is a Serbian dude that probably would be seen as being obese compared to all the other basketball players. You do realize that the second or third best player in the 1980s was literally the dude that they named a movie after called White Men Can't Jump. You do realize one of the best basketball players over the last 60 years was a dude named Pistol Pete, who, by the way, had roots in this region. You seem to be making the other side of the argument you're trying to make, and you're running out of time. You probably should pivot this fast.
I don't know. Can I make another point? Because you're a very fast talker.
I know.
And you're a smart guy.
I know.
You're an intellectual. A lot of your callers only seem to be concerned about when the United States does, like Ukraine, Israel, and now it's Iran. Do you know there are a bunch of other issues, particularly in the continent of Africa? None of your hosts ever talk about it.
Sometimes
Can I bring it up?
You can bring it up very quickly. Then I got one other person
in Nigeria, and one of your callers folded me for this. There are black Muslims killing black Christians indiscriminately.
Yes. Boko Haram.
In Congo, almost the same thing. Somalia. Lenny, in South Africa, the indigenous people there, and I don't blame them at all, actually, it's their country. They've killed white ranchers and farmers, and they confiscate their land.
Whoa. Before you go down that path, what transpired with that land that has them trying to retake that land?
Because it got stolen.
When?
1800s?
No. 1900s, our lifetime, apartheid. So once they ended apartheid, the families that had the land before it was taken through apartheid was trying to get their land back because it's wealth. Now, I'm not justifying people getting killed over that. There should be legal systems in South Africa to do that. But to sit there and say they're taking their land and they have a legal right to it. No, they had a legal right to it because they took it from them because of apartheid. So once you get rid of that system after stealing the land from them, I would think that if you're trying to go for full equality and justice, that the people that had the land taken from them should be made whole again.
Okay, that happened in Zimbabwe too. Robert Mugabe, right?
What is the grand point you're making in 15 seconds?
Hey, I'm going to bring up one last point.
I need you to do it in 15 seconds.
The name, please. I'm a Catholic like you. My parish here, we have a visiting. He's a fully ordained black African priest.
Mm-hmm.
He's afraid to go back to Nigeria, Lenny.
Okay.
He told me that.
Okay, but what is the major point that you're making? That there are Muslims that are killing Christians? We knew that.
Yes.
They're killing. Of course,
it's a crusade in reverse.
It's one group.
Right?
It's one group. But I would agree. Yeah, they're horrific. But we knew about Boko Haram ever since they kidnapped all those girls years ago. This was during the Obama administration. Appreciate your call, Brian. There's evil everywhere. More often than not, we pay attention to the ones that hit the top headlines. So there's that. But I understand what you're saying, Brian. It seems as though there are times where we're more inclined to look at the things that the United States does wrong than look at, one, how evil works throughout humanity. Number two, the things that we do right. I do believe in America. I wrote a book that says A Venn Diagram of One, An American Story. By the way, go to LennyMcAllister.com. You can check it out. Go pre-order the book from Barnes & Noble and the like. So I do believe in America. I also know how much racism has touched every aspect of America. And I do mean every aspect of America. Go look historically. Not saying that I don't think that we're redeemable. We are, because we're children of God. And I believe that America has a special role in the world. But it doesn't mean that that didn't happen either. Deacon, in Dormont, you're on KDK.
Let me make sure we get the plug-in again. LennyMcAllister.com.
Yes, please. Let's make sure we get the plug-in one more time. LennyMcAllister.com.
There you go. I almost forgot what I called. The biggest. I'll ask this. I'll draft this as a question. What's your feeling as far as what the biggest problem this country has?
Leadership. The inability to have consistent leadership at multiple levels of leadership. And as a result, we have this scattershot, no pun intended, approach to what we think is statesmanship, what we think is leadership, what we think is working together, and what we think is justified and unjustified in regards to how we create better ways of life for all Americans.
That's a good answer. I was setting up a joke, but nonetheless, that's actually a well-thought-out answer. My answer was going to be Trump didn't get punched out enough in junior high.
Yeah.
The second thing is, I was over a couple of earlier.
That was very much Hey, by the way, Deacon, before I let you go, and you can get to the other thing. That was very much a Dormont/Penn Hills type of answer, so I appreciated it 100%. Go ahead.
All right, I was over in Cobb. You probably got cut off. Yeah, I was over in Cobb earlier, and I'm checking out, and the girl asked me if I want a bag, and I said, and I'm thinking, can I get one of those Tom Homan bags, please? I call it a UPMC officer, probably have to catch you another time. But the Southern Poverty Law Conference, they're embedding CIs in those racist groups and so forth, and they're paying them. They're not denying that. And they had to hide the money trail in order to actually get the CIs to give them cover. Now, whether that's legal or not, all law enforcement does that. Whether or not that's legal for the Southern Poverty Law Conference to do it is another story.
Yes.
My suspicion is yes, otherwise they wouldn't have done it, but I don't know for certain.
Well, and Deacon, I appreciate your phone call, as always. That's a valid point as well. But then it becomes, okay, how far did you go undercover? You know, did your undercover agents take somebody out? Did they kidnap somebody? Did they recruit, 20% more people to spread hate? Or were you paying them money, putting one or two people on the payroll, getting all kind of information, and then just diffusing things? That, again, is why I say I want to see how it plays out. All right, listen. I'm taking a quick break. Can I take a quick break, Mike, or do I got to go? I'm going to take a quick break. And then I'm going to say goodbye, because I'll be back here tomorrow at 8 o'clock on the Big K Morning Show. But quick break, come back, say goodbye on News Radio KDK.
When you need to know, depend on the news leader. At home, in your car, or at work. The voice of Pittsburgh, 100.1 FM, AM 1020, and KDKA-radio.com.
Think back to the last time you were in nature. What comes to mind? Hiking through a lush forest, floating on a lazy river, or perhaps watching a vibrant sunset on a beach full of glistening plastic bottles and food wrappers. Unfortunately, this isn't a joke. Here in the U.S., we generate the most plastic waste in the world, with 70% of it ending up in landfills. And by the time you're done listening to this ad, more than a dump truck's worth of plastic will have made it into the ocean. Plastic has become a useful part of our everyday lives, but it's polluting the air, water, and soil that all life needs to survive. This is a human problem that can be solved with human action. But it's going to take all of us, from individuals to businesses to governments and everyone in between. Help create a cleaner future for both people and nature. Visit WWF.Earth/plastics.
Pittsburgh's very own board-certified and licensed hypnotherapist Dan Bitchoff of the PA Hypnosis Center is here to help you. He has helped train U.S. Olympic team members control their brains, stay relaxed, focused, and in control, giving them the edge for the gold. He's recognized by many organizations around the world as one of the top hypnotherapists anywhere. He has gotten over 3,000 people to give up cigarettes for good in the last 22 years. He's helped folks even who've tried gastric bypass to lose weight. He can help you and give you a 98% success guarantee. Call 724-934-8446. That's Dan Bitchoff, the PA Hypnosis Center. Mention KDKA and get $50 off any program. But call for a free consultation today, 724-934-8446. The PA Hypnosis Center with Dan Bitchoff. Make that call today, 724-934-8446.
I've heard everything you tell yourself every time you felt different. And I want you to know, taking care of your mind is taking care of everyone you love. Love your mind. Find mental health resources at loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
SchultzFord.com. 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 SchultzFord.com.
The voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
All right, folks. I will be back Monday morning, 8 a.m. on the Big K Morning Show with Larry Richard. Looking forward to doing that. I don't know when I'm filling in. I'll be filling in soon. I know Memorial Day is coming up. Believe it or not, Memorial Day is coming up in a couple of weeks. So I will be filling in around there, I am certain. That said, make sure you're tuning in tomorrow. Big K Morning Show starting at 5:30 in the morning. I will be here 8 to 9 with Larry Richard. In the meanwhile, of course, we're doing more and more on a Venn diagram of one, an American story. Got some pretty cool news for those of you that have listened to Michael Medved over the years. I will be on the Michael Medved Show as a guest talking about a Venn diagram of one over the course of the next couple of weeks. Stay tuned for that. I have another big announcement that I heard about that will happen in August. I'll talk about that later. But in the meanwhile, go to LennyMcAllister.com, LennyMcAllister.com. Go and pre-order the book, please. I'll continue to read clips of the book. In the meanwhile, I'll catch you tomorrow morning. TCNGB, you know I love you. Take care and God bless. Peace.
After my accident, people warned me to slow down. I said, I don't know how. Thanks to my VA care team, I haven't.
At VA, we're using technology